Of course, the Christmas tree and lights high atop that tower, and Candy Lane well underway here at Hershey. A place of dreams this afternoon as Fleetwood begins to tee it up against Quaker Valley in a second PIAA state championship. The boys' side of AA things here, and you see down on the field Fleetwood on your right, practicing right now. On the other end, we have a Quaker Valley team. And you talk about two storied histories. They're coming together and colliding for yet another state championship venture here today at Hershey Stadium. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Gary Sutton. Alongside of me a little bit later on this afternoon will be Ruth O'Brien, our analyst, who is down on the field right now talking with the coaches. But we have two teams coming here today who carry a lot of baggage in terms of positive history in state championships. Fleetwood will be making its fifth trip to the state finals. They have won this a few times. They're looking for another one here today. And on the other side, Quaker Valley has been here 8 of 10 years, and they are looking for their 6th championship out of the West. Quaker Valley coming into this championship today, 21-3-1. They represent the WPIAL out of the Pittsburgh area. On the other side, Fleetwood representing District 3, a soccer-laden rich area over in the Reading area where soccer is played for keeps. 23-2-3. They are the second place finisher out of District 3. They're under the tutelage of Coach Tony DeYoung. On the other side, Eugene Klein, the mentor of Quaker Valley. These two teams come in here this afternoon after having survived quite a run throughout the playoffs this year. For Fleetwood, they opened up in the state playoffs playing against Southern Lehigh. They won that game 4-0. Moved on to face a Radnor team, winning that game 2-1, and then finally knocking out Lansdale Catholic 3-1 to advance to this game. On the other side, Quaker Valley coming up through the western ranks, knocked out St. Mary's 5-1, went on to play East Allegheny and won that game 2-0, and then beat Thomas Jefferson by a score of also 2-0 to get to this game here today. Quaker Valley trying to overcome a jinx that has really surrounded the WPIAL. They are 0-9 the past 2 seasons in championship games. In fact, last year the WPIAL was outscored 18-4 in total goals, and certainly right now the first WPIAL team to break through will become, I think, the regional hero out in the Pittsburgh area, as Quaker Valley, which knows what to do with this championship game, looking for their 6th title, trying to get one here again today and take something home to the West that looks like gold. 1991 to 1996, they won 4 PIAA state championships. They finished 2nd the past 2 seasons. And so Quaker Valley looking here today to try to spring some kind of big victory for the WPIAL. Again, all this being brought to you today by the Pennsylvania Cable Network, PCN, serving over 2.6 million homes and 9 million state residents. Cable systems representing the entire state of Pennsylvania. And again, they become your legislative eye. Well, this afternoon, they're also your athletic eye as we decide yet another PIAA state championship here at Hershey Stadium. It is a very brisk day here. The lights are now on as we head toward evening. Right now, moving on almost 3 o'clock, and believe me, it feels like evening already. The sun has all but gone down here as we are surrounded by roller coasters and flags and candy lanes and arenas and everything else, but that's not on the mind of any of these players today as they get ready to play for yet another gold for a storied history. Ruth O'Brien will be our color commentator as she starts to head upstairs here. She has been meeting with the coaches downstairs. As you see Fleetwood practicing right now. Fleetwood has been here many times themselves over the years, and Fleetwood looking in their 5th state championship game for Fleetwood as they look back over this storied career. They won in 1980. And Fleetwood managed to come home again with some other appearances here. But Fleetwood in 1980, their one major championship here in Hershey Stadium. So this afternoon, it's for the AA Boys Championship. Fleetwood has been here, by the way, in 1988 as well, losing to Peters Township 4-2. Fleetwood also saw this game back in 1997 as they lost 1-0 in overtime to Sewickley Academy, who's also in this tournament this year, by the way, representing the WPIAL. So we get ready for yet another championship game today. We're bringing it all to you on PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network, the second of 5 championships that will come your way throughout the weekend, and it'll all come live here around the state of Pennsylvania. Just to update you, later on tomorrow in a 1 o'clock game, or 3 o'clock game rather, it'll be the Lewisburg Dragons in boys soccer going up against Sewickley Academy Panthers. And then the 5 o'clock game will feature the girls, the Downingtown Whippets, going against the Mount Lebanon Blue Devils, also the WPIAL. They are the only undefeated team left in this tournament. And finally, topping it off tomorrow night at 5 o'clock with the Emmaus Hornets 24-1-1 going against the North Allegheny Tigers at 22-3-1. As you see the officials meeting right now in the center of the field, our officials this afternoon for this game will be Michael Hudak, David Robinson, and William Garrison, as they are getting things all set down there, and the tension begins to build for game number 2 today, the Boys AA PIAA State Championship, being brought to you right now on PCN. And thanks to everyone involved in today's state finals, and a big thank you as well to the cable companies in the state that carry the Pennsylvania Cable Network, bringing sights and sounds of the PIAA Soccer Championships, as well as all PIAA Championships, to millions of Commonwealth residents. And now let's go to the voice of Hershey Stadium, the voice of the PIAA, Mr. Bob Schellenberg, for our introductions.
Hershey Park Stadium for the 2000 PIAA Soccer Championships. In today's AA Boys Championship game, representing the East, a record of 23-2-3, the Tigers of Fleetwood High School. And representing the West, their record 21-3-1, the Quakers from Quaker Valley High School. Now, let's meet the starting lineup. First of all, for Fleetwood, head coach Tony Didyoung, his varsity assistants Barry Hoffmaster and Matt Heck. The starting lineup for the Tigers. Starting goalkeeper, senior John Taney. Senior defender, number 3, Brad Potasowitz. Wearing number 4, senior midfielder, Troy Schittler. Wearing number 8, midfielder senior, Ryan Beck. Junior defender, number 14, Matt Keller. A junior wearing number 17, defender, Jared Treichler. Wearing number 21, sophomore midfielder, Evan Leipelsberger. Junior forward, number 25, David Carrier. Senior forward, he's wearing number 32, Ben Mayo. Wearing number 42, forward senior, Hampton Allen. And wearing number 49, sophomore defender, Billy Burgess, the Tigers of Fleetwood. And now the starting lineup for Quaker Valley. Their head coach, Gene Klein. Assistants, Randy Dedini and Vince Buren. The starting lineup for the Quakers. Starting goalkeeper, senior, Wade Tucker. Senior forward, number 5, Brian Kissio. Junior defender, number 6, Doug Romanovich. Midfielder senior, number 7, Colin McGroarty. Wearing number 8, midfielder junior, Sebastian Stocka. Number 9, junior midfielder, Nick Kessel. Senior forward, wearing number Kristoff. Midfielder, senior, number 13, Ram Hennessy. Junior defender, number 14, Tim Shear. Defender, number 15, junior, Ronnie Bitt. And senior defender, number 22, Greg Wilcox. The Quakers of Quaker Valley. Your championship officials are Mike Hudak, Dave Robinson, and Bill Garrison.
Today's game in boys AA, the gold medal game here in Hershey.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous night, for the ramparts we watch, for the gallantly stream, and the rolling
underway here at Hershey Stadium. It's the PIAA Boys AA State Championship in soccer. Fleetwood, the number 2 finisher out of District 3 against Quaker Valley, the number 4 finisher out of District 7, the WPIAL, one of 4 WPIAL teams there. The Tigers of Fleetwood going against the Quaker Valley Quakers. And 5th trip to the state finals for Fleetwood, 8 of the last 10 years for Quaker Valley. Something's got to give here. Ruth O'Brien, my color analyst this afternoon. And Ruth, what can we look for on the two sides very quickly?
Well, you're going to look for a lot of determination, a lot of hard work to get to this point. When I talked to both coaches, they said they've had a lot of hard work. I have Coach Didyoung from the red team, the Tigers, saying that they've got a balanced offense, Gary. They're looking really toward 2 outstanding players, the sweepers, number 3, Brad Pitzamitz. Now you say it because I can't. And he even said, boy, that's a tough one. I'm going to give you a challenge today.
How about Potasowicz?
Thank you.
There you go.
And number 49, Billy Burgess. So look for those 2 sweepers to really make a difference for the Tigers today. And when it comes to the Quakers, well, Coach Klein said, first of all, don't call him Eugene, call him Gene, okay? Just to let you know. But they have only 1 injury as opposed to no injuries on the Tigers. The 1 injury for the Quakers is Robert Stupp. He's got an injured knee. He's going to play with that today. We'll see what happens. But they've got a definitely an inexperienced backfield that they're looking to actually hold on to today. Maybe they can do something with that.
Well, we're underway as Troy Schittler puts it to the outside very quickly for Fleetwood. Fleetwood under control. They've not been here since 1997, their last time to the state finals, as they knock it over to Treichler. Treichler ahead up the field for Fleetwood. Fleetwood in the red, in the blue and white, of course, the Quakers of Quaker Valley, who quickly get it back to the middle and picked up there by number 7, Colin McGroarty. McGroarty controls it. Nice passing game. Back to McGroarty in the middle. McGroarty dribbling around, trying to create a little bit of space. They'll reverse fields here, and of course, so important to move that defense side to side, Ruth.
It is, definitely, because if you move it side to side, space out the ball, you space out the players, you have more room to work.
One of the things that's going to be very, very apparent to you quickly this afternoon is the wind is blowing from our right to our left as you look at the field, and it is very cold down there. The ball's not going to compress terribly well, and it's going to be very tough for the red team coming into the wind here in the first half, that being Fleetwood.
When I was talking to the coaches down on the field just earlier, I could hardly breathe. It was so bitingly cold, yet strong wind. So they've got a challenge ahead of them today with the wind.
You even had a fur coat on that they don't have on, right?
I couldn't believe they were standing there in shorts. I'm like, aren't you guys cold?
McGroarty sends it back to Romanovich. Back to McGroarty in the middle. McGroarty controlling the ball. Beautiful footwork in the middle. Kick it back to the outside. Look to center it back in and stop there by number 14 on red. That being Matt Keller. Ball finally out of bounds. Quaker Valley will get it in. Quaker Valley has been in 8 of the last 10 state championships. and they are looking for their 6th win here this afternoon. For Fleetwood, they're looking for their 2nd championship, but this is their 5th appearance here. Again, trying to get some room on the far side is Quaker Valley. Down to 38 minutes, plenty of time to go here in the first half. We're just underway. Already today, Villa Joseph Marie, the girls AA champion. They won 2-0 in the first game over a very, very game Charleroi team here at Hershey Stadium. And a ball thrown in and out of bounds. Your goalkeepers this afternoon, Sean Taney on the side of Fleetwood. And on the other side, you have Wade Tucker wearing number 1. And right now, Tucker will be the first to get it back into play for Fleetwood. Again, watch the ball hang. You see it? Just hanging up in the air there, and it's going to be tough if you're in the first half. You're really on a defensive look, and you have to take advantage of every opportunity you have down at that other end.
It's very inconsistent wind, too, Gary. It's whipping, and then it stops.
Ruth,
then there's a big whip again and takes you off guard.
Another factor, too, of course, the field down there, Ruth. It looks a little barren in the middle, but actually in pretty good shape here.
Oh, it's in very good shape. Don't let the bare spots fool you. This has been, well, not only a football field, but a soccer field. And a lot of games going to be played on it throughout the weekend, but it's good enough. I mean, it's strong enough to hold the games that we have ahead of us.
Let you know how busy Tom Stevens and his crew have been. They've got another football game here tonight, another one that starts the day tomorrow, and then 3 more soccer games that we'll be bringing you live tomorrow on PCN tomorrow evening. A nice long center down the field here for Fleetwood as they're trying to make a little hay here out of the offensive effort into the wind. Pushing it back to the outside. Looking out there is Matt Keller. Matt Keller tried to take it. He's taken down on a little tackle there on the far corner. And so the first corner here of the game is going to belong to Fleetwood. Going over and to take that first corner right now. Number 21, Evan Leibelsberger. He is one of the guys who scored one of the 2 winning goals the other night to get this team to the championship. Leibelsberger puts it in, a flat kick. Kicked out of there by Quaker Valley. Chasing down the ball right now is Brian Kissio.
And as we saw in the earlier game that we showed on PCN, the girls team, well, we had one team playing with their defense all the way up practically to midfield. Well, I noticed with the Tigers, they're beyond the 50-yard line if you're looking at it in a football way.
Talk a little bit about the alignments here for both teams today, Ruth.
Well, they're running 4-4-2 formations today where they have 4 forwards, 4 centers, and then 2 in the defensive area, 2 protectors. But I did get a little hint from Coach Klein. He said that he might even go to a 4-5-1 formation today, which would mean for the Quakers quite a bit different attack on the offense.
You talk about that kind of attack, you're talking about balance, constantly balance between the offense and defense, but certainly the game of transition, you're looking to transition that middle line offensively and defensively, so that second line becomes all important to a team's success here in soccer.
Yeah, it could either be a brick wall and make all the difference in the world or not.
Or get on the attack and become an offensive juggernaut on the other end. We'll watch and see how it all develops here this afternoon. We're at Hershey Stadium. We're bringing you the boys AA championship in soccer for the PIAA championship right here on PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network. It is state history in the making. This is the PIAA state championship, and you're used to seeing them be the legislative eye to the Congress. Now you get a chance to see them be your sports eye to PIAA championships throughout the state, and we thank all of the cable companies who are showing this PCN championship this afternoon. Here it is.
Boy, that was quite a kick. It went out of here, almost out of the stadium.
And I have been corrected. We are not talking about the Congress, obviously. I did say legislature,
right.
But to me, it's still the state Congress. They do the legislative lawmaking last I checked. So there you go.
Matter of perception. That was quite the kick, right to the midfield. Putting them on
Here we
the
go,
attack.
Quaker Valley back on the attack. Quaker Valley forming their own little version of the General Assembly right now that makes our laws, and you can see them coming down trying to make a little law here on their own, but Quaker Valley not able to score here. Back into the middle. You see number 7, that's Colin McGroarty. He will be a big part of what happens for Quaker Valley offensively this afternoon as the ball is kicked out of bounds by Fleetwood. Was number 26, Josh Sanders, getting his foot on it. Sorry.
One thing I know, that's fine. One thing I noticed about the Quakers is that they're very conservative, if you will, and they always take a step back and look at where their angles are and where their openings with the other players are, and they're playing the field quite well. They're real controlled. and that's a mature team in my eyes.
Very mature team, as you see them trying to create some space here in the middle offensively. Fleetwood, McGroarty with the ball. McGroarty centers it ahead. A nice defense there and a good tackle, but nice defense back there by Fleetwood.
He's looking for a call, though, Gary.
I really think if there was any call that time, it was going to be on White, as number 8 got up there, Sebastian Staka. And Staka said, I want a penalty. Well, Staka was actually on the back of the red player that time. Staka, by the way, a foreign exchange student.
Yes, he is. He was in the huddle down there when I met him.
Good center back to the middle. Here we see it. Taken by Fleetwood. Good ball passy right here. Back to the outside.
Almost took the ref out.
Now a little touch back, then try to lead it down the side. A little too far this time, maybe. And a little bit too far, in fact, for Ryan Fick to chase it down. And now we see substitutions back into the game for Fleetwood. As getting in there quickly is number 14, Matt Keller. You're watching the PIAA Boys AA State Championship on PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network. 33-19 to go here in the first half at Hershey Stadium. Gary Sutton with you alongside of me, Ruth O'Brien, this afternoon, bringing the second of 5 state championships this weekend in soccer. McGroarty to the outside. Chasing it down on the far side is Nick Castle.
Quakers got the speed, but didn't get it that time.
And now Fleetwood will get it back, get a chance to throw it back in bounds. It will be inbounded by Matt Keller. Keller with a long toss, picked off there by Castle. Castle to the outside, back over to McGroarty in the middle. McGroarty, great dribbler in the middle. Let's watch the footwork. Nice touch pass, back inside. Number 5 has it, that's Brian Kissio. Kissio bottled up there by the defense of Fleetwood. Again, now jumping into the fray is Peter Christoph. Christoph back to the outside. Back to McGroarty. Touches it back near side. This time it's going to be touched by Hennessy, Graham Hennessy. And then finally out of bounds, Staka right there, and kind of wisely let the ball be dribbled out of bounds. Back in bounds to McGroarty.
And he's one of the key players that Coach Klein said to look for.
McGroarty with a nice hook pass there. Dangerous situation. It's still live and quickly on top of it for Fleetwood. Wow. Big moment for Sean Taney. Is Taney able to clear it out of there for Fleetwood? It was a dangerous, dangerous moment as the ball was loose there.
Absolutely, but Fleetwood's goalie jumped on it. He knew where it was.
Sean Taney with the first save of the day. None so far, obviously, on the other side for his counterpart. And his counterpart, of course, Wade Tucker. So it's 0-0 here with 31-38, the first great opportunity of the game now for Quaker Valley. Back in bounds for Fleetwood, taken there by number 8, Ryan Fick. Fick tries to send it downfield. Taken away for the moment by Quaker Valley, and now back. Picked off there by Quaker Valley's Tom Shearer, who sends it back upfield, and Fleetwood will have the ball. It has gotten cold here at Hershey Stadium. The wind is howling out there. Not a day you want to be wearing your shorts, believe me.
No, and I just can't believe that they're out there. Look at the gloves on the players' hands. I mean, you know, keep the extremities warm, and while you're racing around there, the whole body will stay warm, thus preventing the injuries.
Staka gets the ball back in bounds, kicked back out by Fleetwood, and a little bit of a defensive attempt there. Now McGroarty turns it back over to Staka. Staka with the ball, looking for McGroarty. Looking for McGroarty still, and finally finds him. McGroarty, the dribbling in the middle. Beautiful, beautiful foot handling, I guess you'd say, not ball handling.
Great control.
And now Fleetwood.
It's like when you can make your feet do what your hands do, you could be the next Pele.
Ben Mel had it for a moment. Sent it back to number 21. That was Barger. And now back in the middle, McGroarty. Looking for a little give and go here if he can get it, and can't quite find his man. Fleetwood on the spot this time. Good little touchback pass there. Chasing it down in the far corner instead is Staka. Good defense there. Good block to keep it out there from Matt Keller of Fleetwood. Fleetwood desperately trying to get it back on the offensive end, and they finally do get a little bit of light here. Romanovic in the far corner loses it now to Fleetwood. Touches it off to number 25. And that's David Carrier. Good name for a soccer player, Carrier.
Carrier.
Carry the ball for a while, right?
Absolutely.
And there's Carrier, this time trying to pass here. And it goes off and is taken over on the far side by number 5, Ryan Kissio. Ryan Kissio, McGroarty with a beautiful shot all the way from the outside. What a drilled shot by McGroarty. Unbelievable. Colin McGroarty at the 29-30. Just absolutely put it where you can't get it. 29-30 mark of the first half.
That was unreal. Yeah, that was worthy of a replay, Gary. Let's see that shot again.
Colin McGroarty, watch this. And you can see it. He's out there right around a 15-yard line of the football field, but watch where this ball is. It's uncatchable. Absolutely over the outstretched hands of goalie Taney, and Quaker Valley has struck first here at 29-30 of the first half. McGroarty with a rocket shot into the top right-hand corner.
Yeah, and he placed it just right so that, of course, Sean could not get it. Sean Taney, the goalie on Fleetwood.
Well, Fleetwood needs to get back on the attack now. Things just got serious. 29-17 to go. Lots of time in this game as we're still just in the first half, the early going. But Fleetwood knows now that they're going to be playing up a hill, not only against the score, but also the wind. But quickly, they're back here on the other end right away.
Well, Coach Klein said that that's exactly what they got to do. They got to go out there and score right up front.
Billy Burgess trying to do something with it. Finally kicked out of bounds. Check that, I said Burgess, I meant Alan Hampton. Okay, now Fleetwood being bottled up. 3 players right there in the corner and taken away by Quaker Valley. Grabbed there by Ben Mell. Ben Mell switches fields over to Keller on the other side. Keller takes it over to the far side now. Finds Carrier. Carrier carrying the ball down. Trying to find an opening. Nobody in sight, and kicked out of bounds by Quaker Valley. And the ball be brought in the far side by Matt Keller.
The Tigers have a pretty balanced offense, but what Coach Klein should worry about with the Quakers is the inexperience in the backfield.
Well, right now, Fleetwood worried more about trying to get on the board here as all 11 players really in the offensive end for the moment. Matt Keller inbounds it. Again, keep in mind, Fleetwood will have the wind in the second half. They are going into a very stiff wind here in the first half, a very cold, stiff wind, we might emphasize. You're watching all the action here on PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network. We appreciate you joining us this afternoon. The boys AA state championship game, and on the board first, Quaker Valley out of the west for the WPIAL. They're up 1-0, 27:43 to go in this game. Or in this half, excuse me.
Yeah, Quakers were on the attack, quickly taken away by the
look
Tigers.
Out. Oh, and for a moment, you had a little indecision on the part of goalie Wade Tucker, as Hampton, if he had gotten by, had a clean shot, but good defense recovering by Quaker Valley. Gary Sutton alongside of Ruth O'Brien this afternoon, bringing you this game happily on PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network.
I'm very happy because we're in a booth, away from the wind and the cold.
This is the place you want to be today, not down on the field, unless you have gold thoughts in your mind, which both these teams do right now, playing very, very hard in the first half. Nice touch pass, give and go.
Wow.
Taken down that time was Billy Burgess. And it's going to go back over to Quaker Valley. And I don't think the Fleetwood fans were too fond of that particular call.
No, they weren't. Fleetwood fans brought all their fans. They even have a cheerleading squad where the Quakers don't. But they're a little bit of fans over there doing pretty good, staying warm and cheering them on.
There you see the difference with the win as McGroarty sends it well downfield into the offensive end for Quaker Valley, defensive end for Fleetwood. And Quaker Valley has the ball. Staka ready to inbound it, and he said, no, I'm not going to do that. How about if we turn it over to you, Brian? Brian Kissio will inbound the ball, and watch how much of a head start he gets. He's all the way over in the track, but he's got to keep both feet in the ground when he throws his thing. Finally throws it low. Back to Kissio, who tries to center it, goes off the side of his foot, out of bounds. Again, tried to kind of hook that one into the middle, and instead kind of shanked it off to the right.
Yeah, the angle on the foot makes all the difference in the world there, Gary.
So important to get that foot hooking in as opposed to that outside in kind of cut shot that you saw there. There you saw a little embarrassing moment for Sean Taney. He says, I don't want to fall down walking back like that. The goalies are always so dexterous, and you saw a very unusual moment there. And the field may be getting a little bit of dew on it right now, frankly, as the sun begins to go down, and dew or ice, I'm not sure which.
Well, I think it's started as dew and turning into ice because there isn't any sun to melt it, that's for sure.
The ball thrown back in bounds off the body of Fleetwood, and now coming back to Quaker Valley on the far side. Inbounded over there by Romanovich. Pushed ahead by Fleetwood, and now they're going to regather their attack and try to organize, kicking it back to the outside. Over to the near side, it's Leibelsbarger. Leibelsbarger, one of the 2 goals that got this team to the championship the other night. Leibelsbarger with it again, looking to center it. Leibelsbarger puts it in the middle, looking for Hampton. Misses him, goes over top and over to the far side where Carrier trying to fight it out with Romanovich. Make that Castle over there right now with Carrier, not Romanovich. Castle and Carrier.
We were down in the huddle earlier, and I think some of the Quaker players got a little upset. Referees told them they couldn't have any tape on the outside of their socks.
Oh, so
it
that's
was against PIAA rules.
Right.
And all these players scampered to get the tape off their socks and put the tape on their legs as opposed to over top their socks.
Well, hats off to the PIAA for conducting another fine championship here at the Hershey Stadium. And again, hats off to Tom Stevens and his crew for keeping this field in great shape. As we see McGroarty, who's been such an instrumental part of the first half, has the only goal, in fact, heading it downfield. Staka coming up to play hard right there. Being pushed ahead by Fleetwood, but out of bounds that time off the foot of Ben Mell.
Pretty even ball game here when it comes to attacks.
Well, yeah, the one shot, and frankly, the shot by McGroarty, I'm not sure unless you were Wilt Chamberlain, you're going to go on up and stop that one because it was right up at the top and top of the net from about 25 yards out. It was a brilliant shot. Of course, Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points right across the way here at Hershey Park Arena back in 1962 in March. So he's well known in this area as a legend setter, and 100 points, still the record.
You have a lot of facts of trivia in your mind, don't you?
Well, it's a lot of worthless information you carry around for your lifetime, Ruth.
Well, and
it's the only time you could ever use it. Nevertheless, it was an outstanding shot McGroarty put in there.
Yeah.
And that is the difference in the game. 1-0, 23-30 to go in the first half. As you see, the aforesaid McGroarty getting taken down right around what is the 40-yard line of the football field. And now Staka has a lot of room in front of him. Staka going to try to touch the pass in the middle. Nobody there to pick it up as he puts it back to the outside, where it'll be chased down by Castle.
One thing the Quakers do is really utilize the full space of the field, moving the ball around, keeping them guessing on the Tigers side.
Well, the Quakers with their second corner now of the day. I say the day as we move toward the evening. It's still day. It's only 3:25, but it seems like it's about 5 or 6 o'clock right now.
That's because of the cloud cover over Hershey Stadium here.
And McGroarty will now take the corner for Quaker Valley. They lead 1-0. This is their second corner of the day thus far. One so far for Fleetwood, and there's a nice one. He hooks it hard. It's taken out of there quickly by Fleetwood, however. A good head job there by Potasowicz. And now back on the attack again, Quaker Valley. Nice organization constantly, looking for the nice short, quick passes. Players come to meet the passes always. They don't let it play them. They play the ball. Fleetwood with a nice job of getting it out of there. Tim Shearer switches field this time, back over to Ronnie Vish. Trying to find a way back into the middle. Picked up there by Mel, taken back down. Vish chases it down.
There's a battle going on there.
You see a good battle there. Hampton over there fighting out with Staka. Now Fleetwood gets it back in. They'll reverse fields, organize their attack again. As we see Potasowicz with the ball, sends it back to the far side. See, it's not all just kick and run. A lot of good passing. You're seeing two really well-matured programs.
And that's the key to the game there, Gary, passing and knowing your angles, where your players are, and who's open and who's not. If you don't pass and you get hung up in the middle, you ain't going anywhere.
Constantly meeting the balls. We saw Schindler heading the ball downfield that time, but Quaker Valley gets it back. McGroarty with it on his foot right at the moment. Pushing it back to the outside, trying to find a lane to success right now. You see Keller sending it back down for Fleetwood. Fleetwood not able to really get a very good offensive attack, but still a lot of time here. 21-12 to go in the first half. Boys AA final, the PIAA championship. Hershey Stadium. Here it is the second game of 5 this weekend. Villa Joseph Marie already with 1 in the books for girls AA. They won 2-0 today. And Fleetwood, Quaker Valley, 2 storied programs meeting here for the boys AA championship this afternoon on PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network.
Compared to the girls, Gary, these guys seemed pretty calm, cool, and collected in that huddle before the game started when they were doing the toss, see who was home team or not.
Well, for Quaker Valley, when they've been here 8 of the last 10 years, you've got to think this game is somewhere on their schedule card they make up at the beginning of their scholastic year because they plan on being here for some reason.
Yeah, they do. And Coach Klein said, hey, we've been here before. We know exactly what to expect. And so they're experienced and they've got the focus. They know exactly where they're going.
Looking for their 6th championship. And, of course, this is the 5th time Fleetwood's been here. You see 2015 left in the first half. And Fleetwood has won only one time they've been here, but last time was in 1997, coming here and losing a very, very tough game to Sewickley Academy, who will be playing later on this weekend. We'll talk about them, another WPIAL team. Right now, however, 20 minutes exactly to go. 1-0 Quaker Valley leads. Staka trying to find McGroarty. McGroarty could not quite get the clean foot on. He's going to try it again. He's trying to hook it. Back to Staka. Taken out of the offensive area by Fleetwood. Staka back up, fighting it out right there. We saw Treichler finally getting it cleared. Headed back downfield by Ronnie Vish. Then the long kick back out into the territory by Greg Wilcox. And finally McGroarty trying to get a foot on it, sends it. He should have gotten 3 for that one.
Yeah, I think so too.
The goalpost would be down there. That would be going right through him.
It used to be called football, this sport, you know.
Well, it still is football if you go to Europe, right? But here in the United States, football is going to be played later after this game tonight with the that other ball, that screwy-looking thing.
Yeah. In the early 1800s, when football came to the United States and the Americas, it became soccer, the association. Short for the association.
Soccer still probably the most popular sport in the world today. Little touch out of bounds there. Brian Kissio. You can hear the coaches down on the sideline, you know, a little cajoling going on there, you might say.
Yeah, you might have heard a bad word there somewhere, and some of the referees in the huddle said, hey, we won't tolerate that bad language on the field.
Well, I think he just wanted to get the ball out of there quickly, and you know, we coaches get a little upset from time to time, and
well, of course.
But
you got to express yourself and get it out.
But express yourself well. Remember, they're student athletes, right? So
yeah.
Kissio trying to head it, finally does. Set up there, ball alive right in front of the gate. Christoph touches it back. There's McGroarty again with one of those rocket shots, but sends it well over. And with that wind behind you, you just got to sense momentum at your back, Ruth.
Yeah, and that's why I think Quaker took that side of the field, because they did win the coin toss. And they said, yeah, we're going to be home. We're going that way. I get that they wanted to get that early lead in the first half and hold it throughout the whole game.
But important to note with that point that the second half, Quaker Valley will be coming back into the win. And so they have struck. Their strategy's paid off so far. They've gotten the first goal of the game now. It's a matter of hanging on. But here comes Fleetwood trying to answer and maybe tie this thing up. Hampton in the middle of the field with the ball. Hampton, touch pass, over to Mel. Mel back out there, missed by Staka. Over here on the near side. Beautiful pass down there for Fleetwood. Picked up by number 17, Treichler. Treichler trying to find some room in the corner. Taken away there by number 15, Vish. Vish, Treichler fighting it out again. Staka, of course, down there as well. Now it's picked up by number 21, Leibelsbarger. Leibelsbarger trying to find it. Oh, and a collision right there, and not a good one, I might add.
I can't believe it. Just pushed him right down, didn't he?
Yeah, they actually said, I believe right there, that Treichler actually stepped underneath the Quaker Valley player, and so Quaker Valley gets the ball back.
Okay.
We'll take a look at it there and see what you think.
That again.
The play back in progress. When we get an opportunity, we'll take a look at it. Not a big deal. You're going to have a few of those in a game, and always a few questionable calls. But nevertheless, a great officiating job so far here today. The officials, by the way, just like the players, make it here by merit. They are evaluated throughout the season, and they get here by merit of doing a good job.
And they're pretty nice guys, too. They gave each of the team captains coin momentums of this very day.
By the way, halftime in 16 minutes, we're going to look forward to talking to Melissa Mertz, the Assistant Executive Director of the PIAA. She'll be up here with us at some point in time, so we hope that you'll stay tuned for that. Gary Sutton, Ruth O'Brien coming to you from Hershey Stadium, where Fleetwood and Quaker Valley battling it out for a boys AA PIAA State Soccer Championship, and all of it coming here live on PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network.
As the Tigers throwing the ball, Coach Didyoung said, hey, we just want to hang in there within the first 40 minutes and we'll be okay.
Saw McGroarty with a stomach there off Kissio, and now being sent back down the field by Fleetwood. McGroarty ever present there in the middle. He is so tough. Such good footwork. Great skills.
Thing is, he handles the ball with maturity.
You know, you made a point a moment ago, Ruth, and I think it's one that we need to kind of elaborate on. If you're Fleetwood right now, I think you walk out of this half 1-0 pretty happy. with the idea that you have the wind at your back the second half. You can really become a little bit more offensive. You're going to get more air under the ball, and that certainly has got to be in the back of their minds, at least coach's mind at this point, Tony Didyoung.
And it is very strategic in their part, having the balanced offense and the better defense on Fleetwood, according to the coaches. And even though they're going to be challenging the wind next time, their defense will hold them off, is what the plan is.
A couple of substitutions into the game now for Quaker Valley. As you see the clock tick to 15. Here in the first half, plenty of soccer to go here on PCN this afternoon. The first of 5 also for the weekend. We'll have 3 more games coming to you tomorrow night, starting at 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and 7 o'clock. So we're looking forward to bringing you all the action. Also 2 field hockey games tomorrow, and I'd say we have a pretty complete weekend as the ball's being brought in bounds by Kissio.
And you have a very busy weekend.
Yeah, but fun.
Superman here.
Ball picked up there by Peter Christoph. Christoph loses it. Fleetwood gets it back. Now taken back on the outside by number 2, Dave Baker, just into the game. Little collision there. Ball picked up by Mel and finally lost out of bounds by Quaker Valley. Ben Mel, who is a senior forward, will inbound the ball here. Check that they're actually going to give the ball to Treichler, and Treichler sends it ahead upfield. There's Mel trying to get it. Taken by Kissio. Back to McGroarty. McGroarty to the middle of the field. Picked up there by number 11, Joseph McGroarty, brother. And McGroarty to McGroarty here. And a little push. Official walks over and says, I don't want to see too much more of that, guys. You're getting a little too rough for me. Talks to Matt Keller.
Well, they were told in the huddle, not too much roughness here, guys.
You know what I always like, though, about officials' moves like that? Great preventative officiating. You don't just hit somebody with a penalty. You start talking to them, and that's one of the things about the great officials out there.
I like that, too. And that takes the players off the defensive.
Here we go, Mario.
Watching the officials rotate positions here. 3 officials doing the game. Ball thrown in, missed their inbounds. And again, a little push down on the other end as Christoph trying to get position. And apparently did a good enough job. They're going to get it back. Ball will be put back into play by Ronnie Vish. Ronnie Vish off the body of Hampton for Fleetwood. Taken away again by the quick footwork of Quaker Valley. Kissio back to the middle. McGroarty, a lot of room in front of him. Gets it back to the outside where there's still more room on the far side. Chased down there by Castle. Castle trying to work a little bit, and he is checked up there by Carrier. Castle inbounds. Kissio seems to be all over the field today. Castle now trying to center it. Looks to McGroarty and picked off there. Not a real hard pickup by Sean Taney, but nevertheless a save in the book. So Taney with his second save of the afternoon. And here comes Fleetwood. Fleetwood trying to get something started. It really has been a staggered offensive effort for them thus far, and a good defensive effort up there, obviously, for Quaker Valley. McGroarty to the middle of the field. McGroarty looks and finds Peter Christoph. And of course, Kissio now to the other McGroarty. Little touch pass to the outside. Being chased down there again by Castle, and Castle sees the ball go out of bounds.
And while Quaker is on the attack, yes, Brian Kissio, number 5, is a team captain, as well as McGroarty, number 7, and Peter Christoph, number 10. And those 3 are 3 of the outstanding players on Quaker Valley, bringing them to many wins, and maybe possibly here today.
Well, it's so important to find those leaders, and certainly with that triumvirate, you've got a great group of people who have led them to a 21-3-1 record this year. Hard to believe this team finished 4th in District 7. I just can't even fathom what the other 3 teams must have looked like. And right now, this 4th place team is up in this game, 1-0 here in the boys AA state championship, looking to capture the first win in 2 years for a WPIAL team.
Nice high kick there, going with the wind.
Quaker Valley with the ball. McGroarty, Colin McGroarty, the only goal in the game thus far. To Kissio. Kissio looking to get it back to McGroarty, and there's a little jam from behind, slowing him down.
He's all over him, Gary.
Yep. That was Billy Burgess, and Billy says, I don't want you to go any farther. Give me a chance to get back here and get a breath, for heaven's sake.
Yeah, really.
That's the way you do it. Get that official to blow his whistle and stop play, and everybody gets a chance to walk instead of run.
Tough defense, though, on Fleetwood's part.
McGroarty with the ball in the middle of the field. 10:39 to go. A free kick here. McGroarty, long kick down for teammates, and it's a free ball in front of the cage. and brought out quickly by Fleetwood as they get back on the attack. Treichler with the ball downfield. Chasing it down, number 21, Leibelsbarger, but taken back by McGroarty. Now Kissio. And again, he got pushed from behind.
Intentional trip, push, you call it what you will. There's a infraction.
Well, a little desperate there. Kissio had the lead and he had the ball, and he looked pretty dangerous at that moment and taken down from behind by Fleetwood. And so McGroarty with another free kick. And remember, this guy has the ability to drill it to the top of the cage. He gets some mustard on it. As you see, if we get an idea here, the lineup right in front of him, about 10 yards back.
He's got good judgment, too. He knows the cage dimensions. I don't know how he knows instinctively, but he's one to just boot it right in.
Watch Christoph at the far left-hand corner there. He tried to do exactly that. He was going to put another bullet at the top of that cage, and just not to be that time. So Quaker Valley turned away as the clock ticks under 10, down to 9:36 to go here in the first half.
Well, it's certainly been an even-Steven game here, ability-wise.
Except for one brilliant shot.
Yes.
And that one coming early in the game here at the 29:30 mark off the foot of Colin McGroarty. He put it right into the top of the cage. It was literally unstoppable. McGroarty back to the middle. There you see Christoph taken away this time. Billy Burgess takes it away, sends it back up looking for Hampton, can't find him. Off to the far side now. Picked up there by Doug Romanovich. And there you see McGroarty fighting it out in the middle of the field again. This time it's going to be with Ryan Fick, and finally sent back out of bounds by Fleetwood.
That kick was about a 40-yard kick.
Into the wind. I mean, you're
Yeah.
looking at some serious length here for these guys.
Some serious conditioning on Fleetwood.
There's Hampton. Hampton trying to get it under control. And it will go off out of bounds off Quaker Valley. Back into the game now for Fleetwood, a substitution. And we're seeing Greg Dengler. Greg Dengler, a senior back who is in for the first time. And Hampton will get a break for Fleetwood. A little different than what we saw the last game of the girls. Not the wholesale substitutions, more like a one-on-one type substitution, counting on really your first 10 players to get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just, actually, I've never seen substitution like we did last game. 7 at a time.
Well, and
It's usually 1 or 2 or 3.
I'm sure somewhere in the back of the minds of both these coaches, Ruth, is the idea of, you know, when does fatigue start to set in later in this game? And so trying to save players' legs right now to benefit them in the second half.
Well, it won. Who was the winner last time? I forget here.
Well, we're talking about Billy Joseph. Yeah.
They had the substitutions, and I think that was actually key. They didn't let anybody get too fatigued, and it won them a goal.
We'll keep an eye on fatigue here the rest of this game today on a very, very large field here at Hershey Stadium. Good passing. McGroarty to the other McGroarty. Now Colin coming down, touching it to the outside. Picked off out there and brought back in. McGroarty doing a little one-on-one move. McGroarty trying to get an angle back to the middle. He's got Kissio, and Kissio not able to get his foot on it. Looks like he'd have been better served to use his left foot.
Yeah, I think so, and he knows exactly what he just did. He's holding his head. He's like, why did I do that? You know, it was just the moment. He had his right foot available, not his left foot, and it went back where it came from, not in the goal.
Brian Kissio just with a momentary lack of good judgment. I'm sure he's had a lot of good judgment throughout the years, but that time maybe the left foot instead of the right. And he says, man, oh day, what might have been, as McGroarty set him up perfectly from that far baseline.
He did set him up perfectly.
So here we go, Fleetwood. Fleetwood just kind of playing defense with it here, playing against the wind in the first half and saying maybe our day will be the second half. Let's just see what we can get. Back to the near side. You see now Treichler trying to get at the outside, creating some room, switching fields constantly, trying to find that outside-in kind of combination that seems to work so well in soccer.
I think there seems to be a bit of confusion on Fleetwood's part.
Ronnie
Thus
Fish getting the ball
sucking their
bounced.
energy out of them a little bit, I think.
You saw Christoph. And now back upfield, and you see very defensive-minded Quaker Valley. Always 3 players back there guarding the area in front of the goal.
Yeah, that's one thing that Coach Klein said of the Quakers, that they try to stay compact defensively and hang in there because they're a bit inexperienced in the back.
Well, Wade Tucker's had an easy first half. He has not had to have a save so far, but Ben Mel seeing if he can change that around for Fleetwood as he gets it back to the red-clad Tigers. Now out ahead, just a long, kind of harmless shot, and right at the last moment, almost taken out of there as Tucker gets his hands on first, and that's his first save of the game.
What a threat, and that's indicative of their attacking offense. Fleetwood, they really want to score here.
As they should. They're down 1-0 with 5:35 to go in the first half. Plenty of time yet. as the ball goes back over to Quaker Valley, and the ever-present Mr. McGroarty puts his foot on it first. McGroarty to the far side to Kristoff. Kristoff, touch pass, give and go. Now the other McGroarty standing there with it. That being Joseph McGroarty, the famous name, Joseph McGroarty, a junior, and of course Colin McGroarty, a senior, both playing in the midfield area today.
Well, as we take this time out here a little bit, Fleetwood only has 11 seniors. You think that's an experienced team?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty experienced team. I think that, I'm just trying to figure out how they finished in second.
Yeah.
And now a yellow card being laid down on the field.
Well, Quaker only has 6 seniors, so they're a pretty young team.
Let's hear the explanation.
All right.
And we're trying to pick up who the yellow card was on here, as it was brought over to the attention on the side of both coaches and the bench. So we continue on now with 4:56 to go in the first half. We tick under 5. The lights are on here at Hershey Stadium. You're watching the PIAA State Boys AA Championship in soccer here on PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network. The second of 5 championships coming to you live this weekend. Of course, 2 field hockey championships tomorrow. We understand that they will be on tape, I believe, on Sunday. And we'll be bringing you more about that a little bit later on as we line up our lineup for the weekend. There's Quaker Valley trying to get control over there was Baker, but good job of cutting off the angle was Fleetwood.
It was a good idea on Quaker's part to bring it from one side of the field over to the other because there weren't too many defenders there.
Keep in mind, the wind all in against Fleetwood right now, so the second half the wind will be dead behind them, and certainly an advantage today. The elements do play a little bit of a part in this contest.
Coaches both acknowledge the wind is going to be a big factor here today.
Look at Quaker Valley, constantly the 3 defenders back there. So Kristoff trying to get it. Now here comes Carrier. Carrier with the ball. Carrier trying to get it ahead. It's a little too long at time and just missing on the outside. Picked up out there by number 8, Ryan Fick. Taken away by McGroarty. Kissio to McGroarty, trying to get it to the outside. Good defense, good recovery by Fleetwood. And now the long kick downfield. Headed up there. Carrier trying to beat his man to the ball. Chasing it down in a race with Tim Scherer, and there's Carrier in the corner. I make that Leibelsberger, not Carrier, and it's a short kick from Leibelsberger. And the save, this time by Tucker. 2-2 in the save department, but 1-0 in the goal department, and that's the only number that anyone's looking at right now. And another yellow card goes up. And again, the referees are letting people know right here, the officials letting people know that they are not going to stand for any pushing, shoving, or otherwise cheap play over there. And so it's been a very physical game thus far. As we see substitution into the game right now for Fleetwood, it'll be Troy Schindler. And coming out of the game, it's almost like a penalty at this point with the yellow flag. You got to come out of the game.
Right.
For a moment, and coming out of the game is Evan Leibelsberger, one of the chief goal scorers for this Fleetwood team. So he's going to take a seat for a moment.
That's the first of the day, though.
As the officials bringing a little color to the game this afternoon, but not the kind that either team wants to see, right?
Unless it's in the way of sunshine.
Or a color analyst, right?
There you go.
Ruth O'Brien, our color analyst here today for PCN. Gary Sutton alongside of her, and having fun bringing you this game is Kissio. Starts things for Quaker Valley downfield. Back to the outside, Castle with it. Castle reverses it. Over to McGroarty. Now to the other McGroarty, and picked up there by number 2, Dave Baker. Baker swings it back. Put back in play by Vish. Vish puts it into the offensive area where could not be picked up by Joseph McGroarty. Quaker Valley staying on the pedal here.
And they're working it side to side, Gary.
Oh, it's wonderful to watch the passing game here as we see Castle chasing it down in the corner. Take it out of there, though. Good job by Fleetwood. Swinging it again, moving that defense side to side, trying to create holes. Vish with it. Vish with not a good touch. And now Fleetwood with the ball. We see quickly back up field now. Number 4 had it, Troy Schindler, getting it ahead. Picked up there by Tom Shearer. Back in the middle. Schindler picks it off again. Back to the outside. Kissio can't beat it. Fleetwood keeps it down in the defensive end. Oh, what a big What a big point it would be right now if Fleetwood could tie this thing up. What a great momentum builder. Back to the middle. Taken back out of there by Quaker Valley. Picked off there by number 3, Potasowitz. And put back to the outside to Keller. To Carrier. Back to the middle. You're really looking right now to try to make something happen before the end of the half as Sanders had it.
Yeah, we're less than 2 minutes away from the halftime.
Swings it back to the near side, does Sanders, over to Treichler. Treichler looks downfield, finds his man Schittler in the middle. Schittler, remember, you've got a man out right now, and that is Leibensbarger, and what a difference that could make here at the moment. Long pass, McGroarty to McGroarty. He can't get the angle.
Too far.
Joseph McGroarty looked like he wanted to tee it up, but it bounced ahead, had a little bit of overspin on, and really kind of caught him off guard.
Yeah, absolutely. But he tried. He's fast.
Run the Duke wherever you're calling. Duke can't hear you. I can't hear you.
And you hear the officials down on the sideline there, and they can't hear apparently what they need to hear at this point, which is probably the official whistle to end the half with 1:08 to go. Graham Hennessy into the game for Quaker Valley, wearing number 13. Graham Hennessy, a senior midfielder. Fleetwood now has 57 seconds to try to put a goal on the board and tie this up before halftime, trying to get momentum on their side, but I think they'd be very happy to walk in right now down 1-0 with the win part of the game out of the way for them, at least going into the win.
Yeah, and I think that was part of their strategy too. When they won the coin toss, they picked that side of the field for a reason, because of the win.
I think the one part of the strategy they forgot about was Colin McGroarty's big foot from 25 yards out in that rocket shot. They'd have much preferred the strategy to say nothing going out of the half, but right now with 30 seconds to go, they're down by 1.
Right.
Here's Fleetwood, maybe the final offensive thrust of the first half as they just send it down the field. Trying to,
right in
my
the
goodness.
face.
Drilled in the
Keeps
face as
going.
Greg Dangler just keeps on coming and says, forget it, I don't feel that at all.
What a tough guy.
13 seconds, now 10 seconds left in the first half.
His mom is probably saying, no, not the mouth, not the face.
Kid comes home with Voight all over his forehead, they'll know what happened, right?
Yeah.
And that is the end of the first half here in the boys AA PIAA State Championship soccer game here on PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network. And by virtue of the goal by Colin McGroarty at 29:30 of the first half, Quaker Valley of the WPIAL and District 7 leads 1-0 here at halftime. Ruth, your thoughts about the first half very quickly before we take a break.
Well, it was pretty even in the way of, I guess, physical ability and the strength and the endurance in that regard. But when it came to strategy, it was definitely Quaker Valley that had the upper hand, if you will, and you saw that in the goal that they made.
Well, at least the upper foot here in the first half. Colin McGroarty's foot is accounted for 1 goal, and it is 1-0 here at halftime. We'll bring you the second half after this on PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Chocolate Town, and with me at halftime, Melissa Mertz, who last year at this time was Melissa Nash, the assistant executive director to Brad Cashman of the PIAA, and she went out and got herself married. So Melissa, you're up here, you're one of the people running this today, and certainly a wonderful championship so far. You couldn't have asked for a nicer day. It's a little cold out there, but hey, a little hot down on the field, right?
Absolutely, and the teams are loving it. I mean, Hershey treats us so well, and we're so happy to be here. And they're out warming up, and they're ready to go. They're ready to play soccer.
Melissa, people aren't aware of the kind of preparation it takes to really run a championship like this, but behind the scene, there's a lot of people who really get involved. Tell us just quickly a little bit about that.
Absolutely. We have people stationed for every type of venue, anything from media to who handles the teams to who handles the officials, and everybody knows their job, and when it comes down to game time, we're all ready to go.
And certainly coming off like clockwork here today so far, and you've got 5 of these things going on this weekend, and you're going to be over tomorrow morning at Messiah for field hockey, and I'll see you there as well.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to that as well. I think we're expecting another cold day, so I told the girls, bundle up.
Now, I've got to ask you one other question, okay?
Yeah.
It's the obligatory. How's the marriage thing going so far? Do you bring your husband out to these kind of things and make him go down there and work with you in the cold and the sidelines?
Absolutely. He's the beauty to our relationship. I'm just the brains behind the scene.
Melissa Mertz, the Assistant Executive Director of the PIAA, up here with us. Always a pleasure seeing you, and we'll see you throughout the weekend here at the championships in soccer and also at field hockey. Thanks, Melissa.
Thanks, Gary. Take care.
Great talking to you. Melissa, always a breath of fresh air here as she stops by to see us at halftime. And she will be down on the sidelines the rest of the game, kind of taking care to make sure that things are doing very well. Now, we had 1 goal in this game so far. We want to get a quick look at it. Colin McGroarty in the first half drilled a goal at the 29:30 mark, and if we can get it up here, we're going to take a look at it. It was absolutely a rocket shot, and here it was. Colin McGroarty, beautiful pass from Kissio. Colin McGroarty put it right into the top, and absolutely that was the only goal of the first half with the wind. And Ruth O'Brien, that certainly has been a great divider in this game so far.
I'll tell you what, winter has staked its claim on this game with the wind chill in the air, and it wouldn't be so bad. It's so bitingly cold, but with the wind, it doubles that and takes the temperature down. The players are doing everything they can to stay limber, to stay warmed up, so that they don't cause any injuries.
Well, they start the second half, and Quaker Valley is going to be going into the wind, and here's Kissio right away. Chasing it down also is Nick Castle, and Quaker Valley says, we'd like to score one against the wind right now to prove that it can be done. As we start the second half, 1-0 Quaker Valley. The fourth place finisher out of District 7. Coming into this game with a 21-3-1 record. They played in 8 of the last 10 finals here. Leading Fleetwood by 1-0. Fleetwood 23-2-3. Fleetwood in their 5th championship. Has one championship to show for it. And out of the last 10, basically 6 of them have belonged to Quaker Valley. So a team that has laid claim to them year after year. And Quaker Valley with Staka on the other side trying to find his way, dribbling down the outside.
Well, I'll tell you what, Quaker had a strategy, and they're following that. Now all they have to really do is hold off Fleetwood with their defense, and they want to stay compact is the key, and hang in there.
Keep those gaps shut down on your defense, but it might be a little harder than thought because Fleetwood knows how to score goals, and they have been a team that has lived on the edge from time to time throughout the season, as several of their late overtime victories late in the season have shown. And Fleetwood now on the attack, and they've got the wind at their back as you see them going left to right on your screen.
They do have the advantage here because the wind is a big factor here today at Hershey.
So Fleetwood will get the ball back now, and they are trying to lay claim to a goal here early in the second half and get this game back on even terms. Fleetwood with the ball. You see Brian Potasowicz putting in, or Brad Potasowicz rather, putting in play. Beautiful lead that time, went right across the front of the cage, and saved by Quaker Valley. Is out of there comes Christoph with it. Now Fleetwood will get it back. They'll switch fields, reorganize.
What a kick.
Switching fields, and here it is again. Right back to the middle. Brian Mell trying to get there. Also looking to get in there as well. Ryan Fick, and booted out of there nicely once again by Quaker Valley.
When they're in a threatening situation like that, Gary, it's smart that the midfield brings it back to the backfield and let the fullback kick it out of there.
Romanovich with a big foot back there last time, into the wind, in fact. Now Hampton with it for Fleetwood. Hampton trying to find some space. He'll reverse it to the middle. Back to the middle of the field to Schindler. Check that. Make that Fick. And Fick gets bottled up very quickly there as Christoph took him out.
Getting up slow.
Good clean tackling, but it can be clean or it can be dirty. It still hurts when you hit that hard ground.
Yeah, he's holding his hip, that's for sure.
Potasowicz will get the long free kick here. Now again, you're looking at the 25-yard line, but add another 10 yards. You're looking at 35 yards away right now from the goal. So here goes Potasowicz. Nice little short chopper and beautiful looking shot, but right there is Wade Tucker, ready to pick it up for Quaker Valley. For Tucker, his 3rd save of the afternoon. Been a close game as far as corners too. 2 corners so far for Quaker Valley, 1 for Fleetwood. 3 saves for Tucker, 2 so far on the other side for Sean Taney. And of course, just the 1 goal. So it's been a very closely played game so far.
Absolutely, and I think it has a lot to do with their control and their passing capabilities and knowing the angles and where their players are and who's open and who's not, and they both have a handle on that.
Gary Sutton with you alongside of Ruth O'Brien this afternoon, our color analyst here on PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network. We appreciate you joining us today. It's the 2nd of 5 soccer championships this weekend, and don't forget we have 2 field hockey games coming up tomorrow morning. And we'll be looking forward to bringing those to you on PCN as well. A lot of great sports happening, and if it's happening on PCN. 1-0, 35-54 to go in the season for both these teams.
Wow.
As they fight it out for gold or silver.
And that's exactly what they're doing. They're fighting it out.
Quaker Valley trying to stop some kind of run here too. The WPIAL in the last 2 years has basically been outscored 18-4. They've lost 9 straight championships to the East, and they want to atone for that in the worst way. And right now, Quaker Valley looks like they're going to give it every effort. They're up by 1-0, and McGroarty with the ball.
Even Fleetwood wants to atone for that because they lost the last 3 finals that they played.
Great point. And here he is, McGroarty with another rocket shot, but wide this time.
Do you hear the crowd get real excited when he sets up for that shot? Because they know that he's going for the kill.
That was another of those 25-yard looks, too, and he's not afraid to wind it up. When he puts it there, he hits that up part of the cage. The ball really flies on him, but again, into the wind, a little bit different kind of trajectory.
Yeah, as you saw with that shot, it kind of went to the left of the goal.
Kind of a dying quail by the time it got to that goal. Here's Kissio. He's been so good this afternoon so far. Nice little dribbler of the ball. There's Schindler back to the outside for Fleetwood. Now Fleetwood trying to get back on the attack again. They have the wind at their back. A little bit of an advantage here in the second half. Carrier sends the ball back. And there it is, back to the middle and taken out by Kristoff. Now McGroarty. McGroarty's got a lot of space in front of him. Nobody on the outside, though. And it's taken away from behind nicely that time by Ryan Fick.
And they're not going to call that either. And he's laying down. He's hurt, Gary.
McGroarty is having a tough time getting up right now. He has the only goal in the game, as we mentioned. He's been so significant in the middle of the field, and he's holding that left ankle and helped by a Fleetwood player. Nice sportsmanship. Look out. Ball in front of the cage and kicked away at the last moment. Still alive. Staka gets taken out on the goal line.
And it's surprising that they haven't stopped the game because McGroarty is still down.
Let's go back up to the middle of the field and check out number 7 in white. That is Colin McGroarty, and he is down right now. You see Kissio over trying to give him a hand, and he is hurting. He was holding his left ankle, and it's giving him a lot of pain. You can see it in his face.
And that would be quite...
Let's take a look at the replay right here on how this all happened. You see McGroarty coming up with the ball. He's going to be, and he's just kind of dribbling it, and all of a sudden in from behind is Ryan Fick, and just kind of twisted it.
Yeah, he did. He twisted his ankle.
Yeah, no cheap shot or anything there, and it's just one of those unfortunate things that happened. McGroarty, I don't think, sensed anybody behind him, and you can see him walking off now with help of Kissio and his coach.
He's so good at his foot handling with the ball that it's usually to his benefit, but in this case, he was trying to make a quick move to get away from the guy coming up behind him, and he twisted his ankle.
And
so
if there's anything positive here, it looks like he's putting a little bit of pressure on it, but he's also rolling his foot to the outside, and that's the bad look here. We'll keep an eye on that injury, a significant injury for Quaker Valley if McGroarty can't come back. And you look at the left foot.
And I'll tell you what, Gary, that would be the first injury that Quaker Valley has suffered. They are running here with a team that's completely healthy, as opposed to Fleetwood, who actually Fleetwood has no injuries, but only one injury for Quaker, and that's Robert Stubb. He has a knee injury, and he's out.
Well, right now, Colin is out of the game, and we're going to keep an eye on him on the side. McGroarty has played an outstanding game this afternoon.
Yes, he has. And it'd be sad to see him not come back.
Well, you want to see your championship players on the field in a championship game. Here it is, long center, and nothing there as it just was missed by Carrier on the outside. So the ball goes back into the foot of Quaker Valley, and you can see the difference with that long center that you have with the wind behind you as opposed to kicking into the wind in the first half. You can see the wind blowing just on the sleeves of the goalie here.
Right. Not a good hair day for him. No, I'm just kidding. You can see the wind blowing his hair, that's all I mean. They don't care what their hair
Women
looks
always
like.
worry about hair days. We guys only worry about the gold or the silver, right?
Well, no, I worry about that too.
Yeah, I know. And ladies are just as fierce. Don't kid anybody.
We just look better doing it.
That's right. Down the field again. It was Carrier trying to get control of the ball, couldn't do so. Tracked down in the corner by Dave Baker. Again, you can see the ball being played in this half of the field again, this half where Quaker Valley resides defensively. Fleetwood trying to get something started here. Not really any good looks here so far in the second half. Although some great opportunities. Picked up there by Keller.
A lot of kicking
down
going
again,
on.
Potasowicz. Long center, headed. Up in the air, but Tucker picks it off. And for Tucker, that'll be his 4th save of the day. His 2nd this half. So Fleetwood keeping their foot on the pedal right now offensively here in the second half. And again, when the wind's on your side, at it like a 12th man. Keller. Taken away nicely. Kristoff. Back to the near side, Castle to Kristoff.
Nice pass back.
Kristoff trying to get it to Castle on a give and go. Castle slides and can't hook the shot in.
Little too hard.
Nice idea, though. The give and go,
Oh, yeah.
the staple play really in soccer.
That's the idea.
So it goes back on the foot of now one Mr. Taney, the goal keep for Fleetwood, and he'll send it back downfield, this time with a win and this time with a little bit more air underneath it than the first half. You can see again the ball carrying much further from left to right than it does right to left because the wind is howling here at Hershey Stadium. Keller back to the middle. Good head back upfield by Vish. Now headed back upfield again by Romanovic. To Staka. Just everybody pairing for position here for a moment as Kissio trying to control it. Kissio says he got me from behind here. Come on.
Yeah, two of them.
And now Potasowicz to the outside. Fleetwood sends it down the far side, looking to try to get some center position. Chasing it down in the far corner that time was Leibelsberger back into the game. You remember he got that yellow card in the first half.
I wonder what he got it for. Don't you ever wonder that?
A little bit of too much physical play over there. And
Too much energy.
Yeah, and a little bit too much of a vicious push in that far corner.
Yeah,
Hey, it happens.
it does. It's sports. It's competitive. Everybody wants to win.
30 minutes and 9 seconds to go in the game. 1-0, Quaker Valley leads. You're watching all the action this afternoon on PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Gary Sutton, Ruth O'Brien bringing you everything here today. And, of course, a crack group of PCN photographers out there, should we say?
Well, yeah, and
Crewmen, whatever you want to say, but they're all part of the team and doing a great job bringing you these pictures.
Yeah, and they're outside, bearing the wind and the biting cold. I feel terrible. And we're in here in the comfort of a warm booth. But they're doing a tremendous job.
Well, the cameramen all over the place here for PCN today, and glad to be bringing you this championship, the second of 5. Fleetwood with an opportunity here. Burgess. Just a little too far out of the reach, and now quickly down the near side.
Look how fast he
You
is.
see Castle to Kissio, who's now in McGroarty's place in the center of the field. But Kissio can't handle it, taken away from him there. Quickly reversed in the other direction with Steichler. Steichler bringing it all the way down. Going to try to center it to the side now. He's got a man open. Steichler.
He had the right idea.
And it looked like a hand there instead of a head. The hand was up, and that would have been a penalty, I believe.
Well, even the fans are calling for that one.
Reverse back to near side. Carrier. Carrier centers along, center in the middle. Tucker right on the spot. Wade Tucker. Ruth, we talked about it in the first game, but so important for that goal keep to have almost a sixth sense to be able to anticipate.
Yeah, and there's instinct there that you can't really teach, Gary. And the fact that Tucker has it and he's tremendous at what he does makes all the difference in the world in the score, of course, and possibly a championship today.
Staka to Kissio. Nobody near on the outside, and now someone comes up. It's Castle. Castle trying to find Kissio on a give and go. Kissio controls the ball. Looking for space. Dancing around, good footwork there. Tries to get it back to Castle, a little too far, and touched away by Mel. Mel back to the middle to Schittler. Now to Hampton. Back to Mel. Downfield for Fleetwood as they try to get an attack. But they only have 3 players down there right now. Very hard to organize an attack when you have such space between your second line and first line.
Yeah, and Fleetwood has a pretty balanced offense, too. You don't see that happen too often with them.
You just wonder if we're seeing any of the signs of fatigue setting in right now.
I think we are. We only have a little over 27 minutes left in the second half of the game, and this is when it usually starts happening.
Josh Sanders sends downfield. Hampton. Back over. Nice try out there by Leibelsberger. Couldn't quite get the angle and tipped away at the last moment by a Quaker Valley player. And there you see Quaker Valley and there on the side. Mr. McGroarty getting ready to come back in. Colin McGroarty, the only goal in the game, and he'll be a welcome sight when he goes back on the field. Especially if you're a Quaker Valley fan. If you're a Fleetwood fan, he's not a welcome sight at all. Good defense by Quaker Valley. 4 guys that time right in front of that shot before it ever got to the goal. Line it up again, Leibelsberger. Picked up there by Kristoff. Kristoff, touch pass. Out to Staka. Staka just booting it out of the way, getting it out of harm's way and back into the other end.
Fleetwood seems to be passing fine, but they're passing to the wrong players at this point in the game.
Well, you're getting down to about the 15-yard line, and we can only tell that because of the football lines that are out here for tonight's game. But Quaker Valley seems to stiffen up. They let you travel back and forth 80 yards down the field, and then they seem to stiffen up inside that 20 and become like a wall that's not going to let you get by. So far today, an impervious wall, we might add, because it's 1-0 Quaker Valley. And there's McGordy back onto the field, and a happy sight there as he's going to give Stocka a little bit of a break.
Yeah, they're cheering for him right now. Fans and cheerleaders and all the other Quaker boys on the field.
You do not want to see the best players out of a championship game. There is no doubt about that.
You don't want to see any players out of the game. You don't want anybody to suffer
Better
injuries.
point than I made, Ruth. Better point than I made,
Yeah.
believe me.
Especially this game.
Billy Burgess with the ball to the far side. Gets it over to Steichler. Steichler sends it down to the near corner, trying to get some space for Leibensbarger down there. Can't do it. Sends it a little too far ahead. It is cold here at Hershey Stadium this afternoon for the second championship game.
Yeah, I went outside during the halftime, and I was like, oh, I need to find the little ladies' room. I wonder what these players are doing. As soon as I hit the cold, I've got to go.
You got it. Well, that's one of the things that happens here. And of course, what's happening right now, a hotly contested contest, even though the weather is cold down there. Back to the middle. Picked up there by Castle. Castle back to McGordy. McGordy seems to be just a little slower than he was earlier, frankly.
He's limping a little bit on that ankle.
He's got that left ankle taped. There's Castle jamming up in the middle on Carrier. Nice job, Christoph Castle and McGordy. Taken away by Schindler. Schindler ahead. Trying to get a man open. He's got it. Looking for the left corner and cannot find it that time was Fick. Ryan Fick had it lined up for that left corner and just missed by ever such a slight difference.
And we were talking about Tucker. Well, he wasn't even on that side of the goal as we look at the replay here.
But watch this. You're going to see Fick coming down. He lines it up. He thinks he's got it. He gets Tucker to move toward him. And then he just ever so closely misses that outside. As you saw, a last-ditch effort by Leibelsbarger trying to tip it in from that corner. Couldn't get to it.
Being an offensive player in the past myself, that was a brilliant offensive move.
It really was. You want to bring the goalie to you and then try to deliver it into the open part of the cage, and couldn't quite find it that time, and a big opportunity missed by Fleetwood.
And a psych to Tucker.
Here we come again. This time Tucker right in the right spot, and Tucker with his fourth save of the second half. He has 6 in the game so far, and again 4 in this half tells you where Fleetwood's been most of the half so far, with still 24:07 to play. You're watching the PIAA Boys AA State Championship on PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Hope you're enjoying it this afternoon as we come to you around the state of Pennsylvania. And here comes Quaker Valley. They're up 1-0 right now. Castle with the ball back to the middle, looking for Christoph.
Smart move to pass it over the other side of the field.
To Christoph. Good passing here, good short passing. Back to the outside. Looking now to maybe try to set it up in the middle. Not to be done this time as Fick picks it off for Fleetwood and sends it back down with the wind into the offensive end for Fleetwood.
And the wind just took that ball right where he wanted it.
Quickly back up. See Leibensbarger. Leibensbarger to Mel. Mel ahead. Looking in the middle for Schindler. Schindler trying to find an open man. Can't do it. Cleared out that time by Joseph McGarty. Picked up there by Hampton. Hampton with the ball for Fleetwood. Taken away by Christoph. Back upfield. Kissio's going to miss it. Instead, it's going to be belong to Fleetwood. Fleetwood sends it ahead this time. Downfield into their area. Not going to be there as McGordy falling down. You wonder if it's because of the field or that ankle that he hurt. Here's Kissio in a foot race trying to get up there with Potasowicz.
Seemed like a ping pong game there for a little while.
You got it cleared out of there instead by Sean Taney of Fleetwood, and now Fleetwood back on the attack again. 1-0, 22:44 to go in the game, and Quaker Valley leads by 1 here in the boys AA PIAA State Soccer Championship, the second of 5 this weekend. Hampton had it. He thought he had it in bounds, and instead the official says, no, it was out of bounds just off that line. Castle will inbound it for the white-clad Quaker Valley Quakers. They have been in 8 of the last 10 state championship games. I've got to tell you, when you make the schedule of their school, you include that game as part of the regular season.
And I think that shows on the scoreboard. They're leading 1-0 right now. They're a very experienced team. They came here knowing exactly what to expect.
Neither of these teams won their district this year. Fleetwood was second in District 3, a soccer-laden area, rich-laden area, over in the Reading area where soccer is played for keeps. And of course, Quaker Valley, with such a storied history, 4th in District 7. Talks about the quality of soccer being played there when you watch a team of this caliber. 4th place coming in, and they're leading this state championship right now.
Kind of blows your mind, doesn't it?
Nice clear that time by Joseph McGroarty. Now Colin, his brother, steps in and says, let me get that out of there for you, my brother. Can be your brother's keeper every now and then in soccer, right?
Yes, indeed.
McGroarty being taken from behind again. Schindler knocks it away. Fleetwood trying to take advantage of the wind, going from left to right this half. Good passing. Carrier back to the middle.
You know, one of their goals here at Fleetwood is to get the ball cleared very well, and they've been able to do that up to this point. And hopefully,
Josh Sanders getting involved there for Fleetwood as now Hampton will inbound the ball for the red-clad Fleetwood Tigers.
hopefully with that, they'll probably score a point here, because that's what they're on the attack to do.
Well, if you're a Fleetwood fan, that's what you're looking for right now, is Hampton with a long throw downfield, trying to get to that near corner. Saved there by Quaker Valley. Mel rushing down and kicked out of bounds by Quaker Valley's Doug Romanovich. He's done a nice job this afternoon defensively for the Quakers.
Yeah, he has, but at that point, he kind of looked around and nobody was going for the ball. He's like, oh, I better go for the ball.
Yeah, maybe I ought to get this out of bounds before something bad happens.
Yeah.
There's Hampton throwing it in bounds again, trying to start the attack with a reversal. Finds his man, long head to the middle, up in the air, and Tucker on the spot again. His 5th save of the second half with an effort by Fleetwood, and turned away one more time as we tick down to 20 minutes and 12 seconds.
Fleetwood had the right idea there. They keep that up, they're bound to score a goal.
Fleetwood staying on top of the pedal this half as we see Schindler make that thick mat rather, fighting it out in the middle of the field. In there with Kristoff. Now we see Sanders. Back to Hampton. Swings it to the other side. Tough pass there. Chased down by Billy Burgess as again going down on the field.
Got a player down.
Is McGroarty.
Is it?
Yep.
Oh my.
He's hurting. He's really limping a little bit out there right now. He's really not under full strength at all.
Tape or no tape, when you take 2 good hits like that.
You can see him. He's got both hands on his knees right now. He is hurting.
Yeah, he is. That's a shame.
Ball controlled, near corner. Romanovich, back upfield. Overshoots his man Castle. Hampton picks it up for Fleetwood. To Fick. Now stolen back. Kissio with it in the middle of the field. Trying to find a man open. Can't.
Finds a Fleetwood player, though.
And it's Mike Hampton back in the middle. Hampton reverses Fields. Burgess to the far side. It'll be Steichler. Steichler leads it downfield. It's going to be cleared out of there by number 22, Greg Wilcox. And there's McGroarty in the middle.
He's not hanging on to the ball too long.
There's
now.
McGroarty now. McGroarty's going to have it just kicking it away, not trying to dribble it too far. And here he is again.
He's still crucial to the passing game, though.
That's right. He is in the middle. He's the spoke of the wheel, so the middle of the wheel, so to speak. And here it is. Ahead to Castle. Castle gets a look at it and touched out of there by Taney, his 3rd save of the game. Castle with maybe not his best look. It looked like he had a little more space. He could have dribbled it before he let that go.
Yeah, he could have scared it.
Ball up in the air. Quaker Valley and Tucker's going to pick this one off. And clear it quickly, and he's trouble. Got to watch that. Fick says never say die, and he's taken down from behind. Fick is taken down from behind over on the far side.
They're not going to let him get away with that.
By Ronnie Vish. And I'll tell you what, he never said die. I mean, he just chased the ball constantly. Ryan Fick, and he almost turned kind of a lazy effort there by Tucker into a goal on that end.
And I think that's why Quaker took him down. They wanted to put a stop to that right away.
Well, Fick says, we'll give you another opportunity. So here's the free kick now. Steichler will put it in play. Check that. Steichler fakes it. McGroarty heads it out there. Nice play. Kristoff racing out, kicks it out of bounds to save another would-be opportunity for Fleetwood. 17:29 left in the game and the season for these two teams that have fought so evenly and hard this afternoon.
And this is exactly what Quaker wanted. They had the advantage when they first came into the game with the wind going their way. Now they're battling the wind, but they're trying to hold Fleetwood off, and they've been able to do that up to this point.
Well, battling the wind the second half right now is Quaker Valley. Great knock out of there again by Kristoff, and now cleared out of there again by Romanovich. Again, hard to clear it very far, though, because the wind is just hanging the ball up every time. Looks like a balloon.
Yeah, it is. Boy, his head must hurt after a hit like that. It was a solid rocket right to his head, right off his head. Bam!
Tasowicz puts it back in play. Kristoff with the high kick. Mel with the head. And back out of there one more time now. Pattison, check that. Wilcox clearing it out for Quaker Valley. Come back over there as Tasowicz will put it back in play for the red-clad Tigers of Fleetwood out of District 3. They are down 1-0, 16:25 to go in this contest. Staka trying to chase it down to the outside, not going to be.
At this point, Gary, I'll tell you what, Quaker's really feeling the injury that McCarty has suffered. They're not on the attack as much as they are on the defense.
Matt Pike checks into the game now for Fleetwood. Hampton with the ball.
Number 9, Matt Pike.
Pike with the ball just into the game. Cleared out of there by Kissio. Sent back upfield, and you can see all the Fleetwood players down there in the offensive end. They are desperately looking for a goal, and here's Carrier. Carrier's going to try to get it centered. Nice cut off on that near side by Romanovich. Just knowing the angle is so important in this game, Ruth.
Yeah, it really is, the angle, and he had the right idea. He just didn't execute that to get it into the center for scoring position.
Well, it's going to be a corner here for Fleetwood. And for Fleetwood, it will be their second corner of the game. 2 corners apiece so far, as Carrier will put it into play. And this is a big moment for Fleetwood and their fans. They have the win. They don't have a goal yet, and they're going to try to set it up right here. To the center. Headed out of there. Kissio. Put in play again. And kicked too far past the people on the other side. Josh Sanders had a good idea, just not quite able to hook up with his man on the far side. Dave Baker back into the game for Quaker Valley.
We only have less than 15 minutes left to play in the second half. And if Fleetwood continues to be consistent in their attack, they could possibly score.
Well, Fleetwood looking to score right now, trying to get something going is Kissio from the middle of the field. Dishes it back to the outside. Picked off there by Steichler. Steichler takes it back to the outside, but out of bounds off the head of one Mr. Mel. Quaker Valley with the ball going back into the wind, but they carry a 1-0 lead right now. They can afford to be very defensive, and you can see good angles, good spacing the whole way back, and that 4-5 kind of look they've been using here pretty much most of the game. Take it away there. Kristoff. Kristoff's had a really brilliant game so far. Good job back to the middle. McGrorty, who looked to the outside, see if he had a man, he did.
Perfect
it's
pass.
Castle. Castle coming down, dribbling a little too far that time. Taken away there. Sanders. Sanders back ahead to Carrier. Carrier coming down the near side. Carrier trying to get by the tackling Wilcox. Carrier still with the ball to the center. Mel can't quite hook up. McGrorty heads it, tries to get it out of there. Sanders with it. Regroups the attack. And now cleared out of there nicely. Romanovich, the strong foot all day on the defense for Quaker Valley.
You can taste almost how bad they want it at Fleetwood. They're really gearing up and excited when they get the ball down there toward the goal line. They just can't get it in.
Even though there's 13:30 left, you start to sense a little bit of desperation on the part of Fleetwood.
Exactly.
As Quaker Valley in a very defensive mode here, taking opportunities when they can get them, but really worried more about the defense, bottling things up. They have a 1-0 lead here, courtesy of Mr. McGrorty early in the game. And here's Castle, trying to get some numbers down there. See the diamond action in the back. The defense is the players walking downfield for Quaker Valley, never too far down, working in a diamond shape, and really have been just converging to the ball all afternoon very well defensively. Take it away. Fick taking the ball all the way down the side himself. Fick trying to go by the final man, trying to get it to Hampton. Ball will eventually roll out of bounds, however, as Ryan Fick trying to find an open man down there.
It was a good idea. Just if Hampton were a little more center field there, well, he might have been there for the receiving of the pass.
Back into the game is Troy Schindler right now for Fleetwood, number 4. Now you see Fick. He's been ever present throughout the whole game so far, just not able to get that goal that he wants so badly. Now reversing fields, Fleetwood. Far side, Matt Pike. Pike is going to lead it downfield here, just kind of a kick and run. When in doubt, send it to the other end and make them work their way back up, right?
That's what I was just going to say.
Why don't you say it?
When in doubt. I'll spare you.
Nevertheless, Tucker is going to have a goal kick here, getting it out of the area. And Tucker with that long, high kick. Pretty good kick into the wind, actually, that time, although it still held it up pretty well. Evans Barger has a good footwork there. Getting it back to middle. Good dribbling. Taken away by Kristoff. Kristoff pushing it back to the outside, but no one home.
I like the fact that Fleetwood's just not giving up. They're giving it their all, and the stamina is incredible.
We got a player down the field. Looks like it might be Fick. Ryan Fick is down on the field right now for Fleetwood, and again, much the same as McGroarty would be a huge loss, and anybody would be a huge loss this game. Fick has been really working hard the second half.
He looks
has
like
been everywhere.
He looks like he's really hurting. That would be a big blow to Fleetwood right at this point in the game.
He appears to be holding his face right now. I'm not sure if he ran into a player coming down, but he was holding his face at first now, getting up under his own power.
That's a good sign.
Talk about tough guys. I mean,
They are tough.
Holding his head, and that's got to hurt this afternoon. He said, hey, something came off my head, coach. I didn't like it too much.
Yeah, I think it was another player.
32,
You always know the soccer players when they get older, you know, they have like the brand name of the ball on their forehead, and, you know, it's...
Hey, I managed to get away without any.
There you go. A lot of soccer moms out there know what we're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm. When it does hurt, when you get hit in the face with a ball coming full force.
11:25 to go in this game. It's the Boys AA State Soccer Championship conducted by the PIAA and shown to you here this afternoon on PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Glad to be bringing all the action to you around the state of Pennsylvania. Gary Sutton along with Ruth O'Brien right here at Hershey Stadium in Chocolatown. 1-0, Quaker Valley leads. We have 11-11 left in this season for both these teams that have fought so bravely today. Physicality there again as the call made against McGroarty that time.
Well, it's getting hot because we're coming down to the last 10 minutes of the game.
Same official, by the way, has put up both yellow cards we've had this afternoon, so he has been very, very strict, and you've got to know that when you go into a game. Tough pass there by Steichler. It goes out of bounds for Fleetwood.
Well, that's the official in the huddle, the beginning of the game, before it actually started to toss the coin that put it straight. He read the PIAA rules and reminded them and said, we will have no tolerance of anybody breaking these rules.
Frankly, it's been a very well-officiated game all day long. You expect that. These officials get here the same way the players do, by merit.
Absolutely.
They're evaluated, and that's the kind of thing you like to see. So the officials not letting the game get out of control with two very talented teams who also will tend to get a little physical now and then.
Yeah, trying to keep good sportsmanship alive.
I know Brad Cashman, I talk to him all the time, and that's one of the things he's constantly preaching. And I've got to tell you, the PIAA contests we've done over the years, and I've done a lot of them, great sportsmanship is a trademark of Pennsylvania athletics.
Yes, it is, and they're very proud of that.
We saw it again here today so far. Players helping players from other teams up who are hurt as Fleetwood gets back on the attack one more time. 9:54, we're ticking under 10 now, and the clock beginning to become somewhat of a factor. Staka heads it out of there for Quaker Valley. Here comes Kissio, trying to get a breakaway, not going to do it here. Good defense at the other end by Fleetwood. Tasowitz doing a great job of taking it away. Here comes Carrier, and it's going to go out of bounds. Substitution waiting to get back into the game. It'll be a happy moment for Fleetwood fans because it's Ryan Fick, number 8, the familiar number 8, standing right there at the midfield mark. Quaker Valley. Here's Romanovich getting it back into play. Nice job by Tucker. Kind of a harmless high shot, but the longer they're up in the air, the longer it has a chance for someone else to head it. And that will be the 6th save in the second half, 8 in the game for Wade Tucker. Just keep looking for holes right now if you're Fleetwood. Fleetwood keeping on the attack and the offensive end. Quaker Valley keep doing what they're doing right now. Just clear it away, run valuable time off the clock, and make you constantly regroup. Kristoff looking, he's got Castle here on the near side. There's Castle now to Kristoff with a give and go, but Kristoff slipping just a little bit. Field looks like it's starting to get just a little bit wet in places.
Yeah. And that's tough to play in the mud. And it's scary because that's when the ankle twisting starts.
Cassio, McGroarty, two heady players. Back to McGroarty in the middle. Here he comes.
Guess what?
McGroarty's got to look. And he tries to cross it and can't find his man on the far side. That was Dave Baker, but McGroarty with some fancy footwork almost got it into that far corner.
And you would never know that he just suffered an ankle injury and got hit twice on that same ankle, because he's a fireball right down in there. When it comes time to do business, he gets it done.
Well, you know, these guys that like to score at the forward spots, the midfield spots and so forth, when they see that cage, their eyes light up, and I think all pain goes away at the last moment.
The adrenaline rush takes over.
There's Kristoff. Been all over the field today. Good pass now, Fleetwood. Time becoming a factor. 7:34 to go in this contest. A little
We have a
bashing
player
there
down.
at midfield, and or actually down around the 30. And we got a man down over there. This time it's going to be Leibelsbarger.
Yeah,
and
one of the Quaker folks came right up behind him and kneed him in the hamstring. That's what he's holding.
just a bang-bang kind of play again, and not the kind of thing you want to have happen, but hey, it happens. Here we got a lot of one-on-one physical play here. Leibelsbarger rolling around in pain right now.
Let's
and we're going to see a replay and see exactly where he got hit. Take a look right here. Leibelsbarger is going to get the ball. Comes down and nailed a little bit from behind. Both players trying to go after the ball. No problem there. As Baker and Leibelsbarger involved in a little bit of a, not a fisticuffs, but a little bit of a bang-bang type play on the far side. Looked like they were looking at his knee, to the inside maybe of his right knee.
I'll tell you what, there was contact even before the ball was near the two players.
That has got to hurt. It's so cold down there, and just banging bone on bone cannot be a good experience. 7:19 now left in the contest, left in the season, and left to decide who's going to go home with gold and who's going to go home with silver this afternoon. As good sign there, Leibelsbarger coming off the field under his own power, but again, good to get him off the side. He has to come out of the game right now because coach was out of the field. And get double-checked, make sure everything's okay. Again, these are student athletes, not professional athletes. You want to make sure that everybody's welfare is first on the list. We'd like to acknowledge the 2.6 million homes watching around the state right now, and millions of Commonwealth residents and sports fans everywhere who can receive television coverage courtesy of your local cable company carrying this PCN broadcast this afternoon. We're proud to be bringing it to you on PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network. There it is! To the middle! A beautiful head to the middle. Center to the middle, and who else? Ryan Fick. He has been so huge the second half, and he nails it home with a headshot at 7:02 here in the second half, and let's watch it.
Let's watch it again, Gary. You can tell all that energy build up.
Billy Burgess to Ryan Fick, and watch this. Boom!
Right in.
Takes it right past Tucker on the left side, and Fick scores at 7:02 of the second half. Ryan Fick, and I think that's poetic justice. Remember, he almost got that goal a little bit earlier, and everybody was a little bit lazy. He just kept hustling. That time, he beat everyone by a head to the finish line.
And that's what I kept saying, Gary. The fact that Fleetwood wouldn't give up. They were consistent in their attack, and eventually they would have gotten one in. Well, they did just that.
And a funny thing happened on the way to the goal for Quaker Valley. Fleetwood decided they didn't want to go home just yet. It's 1-1 with 6:48 to go, and we've got a brand new game here at Hershey Stadium, and the crowd knows it too. They are juiced here at the moment.
Let's go.
Ball right back into the red area again. Hampton with a head. Here it is, high arcing kick to Tucker.
This time right in his hands.
And this time offsides as well, and so Tucker picks it off, but was not going to count anyway. Ball put back into play by Quaker Valley. 1-1. McGroarty scoring at 29:30 of the first half. At 7:02 of this half, you see Ryan Fick bringing it home with a headshot in the far left-hand corner.
It was a beauty, too.
Keller trying to find it, loses control. Castle gets it back ahead. Here comes McGroarty, Joseph McGroarty. This time to Cassio. Cassio trying to beat his man to the spot. Here's Castle again. Colin McGroarty to Castle. He's going to center it right here. He does nicely, and misses his man as it goes far across the cage over Cassio's head, being chased down in the far corner by Staka.
And that was a replay of what we just saw with Vic making his goal.
Exactly.
He was looking for the headshot in, taking it over cross court into the center.
Well, you talked earlier, Ruth, about just constant pressure, getting constant opportunities outside to the middle. And that's exactly what Fleetwood did, and it finally paid off for him. It had been a long game of starvation at the goal. And of course, getting in there was Fick to put it home and tie this game up. There's McGroarty. Oh my.
That was funny. Taney just goes up, hangs on the goal.
Taney says, it might look high, but I'm going to make sure I'm going up here just in case that thing starts to sink. It is 1-1, under 5 minutes to go. Now 4:58 in this PIAA State Soccer Championship, AA style. And Taney sends it out, long way downfield. Kristoff with a head. Looking for Cassio, can't find him. Keller heads it back out to Carrier. Now Fick looking ahead for Hampton, can't get him there. Goes by Romanovich, kicked out of bounds, finally down on the near side by Quaker Valley and Tim Shearer.
That particular play, you saw some fatigue actually show its rearing head.
Well, fatigue cannot be a factor right now as these two teams fighting for gold in the last 4:21 of this game. And Fleetwood, you'd have to say a little bit with the advantage as far as momentum and also the wind right now.
Right.
1-1. Quaker Valley trying to break a WPIAL loss streak here. For Fleetwood trying to win their second championship in their 5th state appearance. A lot of things kind of coming into play here as we come down the stretch, Ruth.
Yeah, Quaker had the right idea in the beginning when they had the wind at their back and they immediately scored, but they thought they'd hold Fleetwood off the second half, but weren't able to.
Staka on the line, or actually ball out of bounds when he kicked it. And that'll be brought back in by Fleetwood as the clock moves toward the end. 3:41 left in the game, at least in regulation. Taken away by Kristoff. 3 defenders back. Kristoff goes by Steichler. Kristoff continues down. He's got Cassio. Cassio out of lead, and a good job of kicking it out of there.
You could feel the charge, though.
Tell you what, Matasowicz kicked it out, and then he put his hands on his head and said, oh my gosh, I almost scored a goal for them.
Yeah.
That's a scary prospect when you're trying to, get one out of there, get it away from harm's way. And you see Matasowicz down there, and he says, my gosh, did I get lucky today?
He did get lucky.
However, it's a corner, and it's going to be the 3rd corner of the game now for Quaker Valley, and here we go. And again, headed dangerously out in that area.
That's a mistake they can't afford right now.
Well, Leibelsberger, you got to get it away from the goal, but heading very, very near the net that time.
Yeah. You wouldn't be living that one down with your buddies for a really long time if it happened.
Well, you'd want to walk home instead of ride home,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure your buddies would understand, but at the moment, it kind of hurts. 4 corners so far for Quaker Valley, 2 in the game for Fleetwood. And Taney clears it out again, and back on the attack again, and Cassio. He's going to look for McGroarty right here. Can't find him. Taken away down in the far end by Billy Burgess. The clock ticks to 2:20. The score is 1-1. It's the boys' AA state championship at Hershey Stadium. And I'm not sure these two teams want to go home just yet.
No, I don't think they will. There's too much energy and excitement right here.
There was a hold in the middle of the field by Schindler and the referee. The official finally got it. Be back in play now. 2 minutes. Now we tick down under 2 minutes. McGroarty, with the only goal in the game for Quaker Valley, will put it into play. Got a free kick right here. Long, high, arcing kick.
He's amazing.
Dangerous. Well, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of air under that ball for kicking into the wind.
There was. He's got an incredible strength and also control of where he directs his kicks.
We're now down to 1:35 and clock ticking away. Fleetwood trying to get one last effort. Quaker Valley trying to steal it back. They're going into the wind. Kicked ahead, McGroarty. McGroarty trying to find some space. Can't. Jammed up in the middle. Hampton has it for Fleetwood. Hampton goes the other way, trying to organize, waiting for numbers to come down and help him out. Gets it back to the outside.
Smart move there.
Good pacing that time by Hampton.
Very good.
Now we'll reverse fields again. Leibelsberger. Back over the near side to Keller. Keller stops it.
Now they're getting their heads together.
Carrier centers it long, high, arcing shot, and over the net.
Ooh, did you see Tucker follow that?
A dangerous moment as Tucker followed it with his eyes, and he said, he had his hands up there just in case. 46 seconds, 45, it keeps moving. We will head to overtime if it stays 1-1, and it appears right now that it well may do that. Long kick. Here we go again. Here comes Staka. Staka ahead. Cassio trying to catch up to it. Being chased down by Steichler. Cassio with it, 24 seconds to go. Very little time. They need a look. Here he comes. Long, high, arcing kick. Trying to get it into the area here for a moment. It's going to be back outside number 13. That's going to be Hennessy. Here comes Castle to the middle. Oh, and missed his man Kristoff. He had him wide open. Here it comes. And one final look in the middle by McGroarty. Could not do it, and that is the end of regulation. It is 1-1, and we head to overtime, Ruth.
Oh, it's an overtime game, and even though the fatigue is evident right now, they're going to have to continue their battle to see who wins this championship.
Well, we head into overtime. Both teams have now exhausted themselves in regulation. You see McGroarty coming off, still bothered a little bit by that left ankle. I don't know if we can get back and take a look at those two goals again that led us to this overtime. Of course, at 29:30, McGroarty scoring, Colin McGroarty, with that long rifle shot. And then returning the favor at 7:02 here of the second half, late in the second half, Ryan Fick with a head into the upper left-hand side of the net. And you see Fleetwood getting ready for the overtime. On the other side, Quaker Valley, and we'll listen down there and see what's happening.
Calls ahead, it's a tail. You're true, right? Okay, Red, you'll have the ball to start. So yes. Okay, guess we got 5. So catch, get some fluids, take a blow, and we'll get going. All right. Okay, buddy. Same rotation. You got the first thing, you got the second, you get it over the first thing. Oh, okay, you know how you don't care for me. You know how the red score. Okay, let's get score another one. That was a good ball. Nice.
Quaker Valley won the toss, and they elected to defend the goal to your left. And what was the reason? Well, the wind's behind them, for heaven's sakes.
Because it's a big factor here today.
And now we take a look at the goals. This was the first goal at 29:30. We talked about it all game. The rocket shot from Colin McGroarty. Watch this. Unstoppable. Into the upper right-hand corner of the net. Beyond a diving Sean Tanning. And then coming back late in the game. We had a goal at the 7:02 mark when Fleetwood, with the wind at their back. Both goals, by the way, scored with the wind at their back, and both teams know that, so you can see why Quaker Valley takes it here in the overtime. But at 7:02, when it looked like Quaker Valley was marching home to a gold medal, Ryan Fick and Fleetwood, they kind of had a little bit different idea about how things might go. We're going to look at that replay in just a moment. As you see Quaker Valley huddling up, getting ready to start this overtime. Got about 2:45 yet until the overtime will get underway. And Ruth, certainly two teams that have expended a lot of energy here. And now you start to kind of dig up from the inside. You kind of take character and pile it on top of that physical energy that you've expended.
Yeah, and I think Quaker State, of course, having an inexperienced backfield, has come through today.
You said Quaker State, Quaker Valley, but you know what? Everybody could use a little Quaker State right now, because I got to tell you, I mean, you need a little bit of extra oil here in this overtime, so probably an abstain.
That's right, I meant Quaker Valley.
No problem.
Well, I talked to Coach Klein, and he said, we're a little bit inexperienced back there. I'm a little worried about that, but not today. I don't think he had anything to worry about. They really did stay together, and the coverage was great, and just getting it out of there continually, consistently. And, even though Fleetwood had never stopped attacking, especially during the second half.
Just really been impressed by the great passing style that both these teams show. And again, they've been here so often, you'd expect that. It's not something that's really surprising at all. But good passing all afternoon.
It impressed me, their control of the ball. You know, it takes maturity to really just relax within that play, where all of a sudden you get the ball and you got to decide where to go with it. You got to settle down, use peripheral vision, and then make a decision and execute it, and it's happening well.
And at 7:02 of this half, here was the goal that tied it all up. Watch the beautiful job here of getting the ball back to the middle. Good passing. Billy Burge is going to line it up. Both these goals spectacular. Watch this. Fick gets his head ahead of everybody else, just dives forward and jet propels the ball into the upper left-hand corner of the net. And that is the goal that tied it up. And that is the reason we're getting ready to play a little more soccer before we get done here today.
And you know, it just amazed me how he did head that ball in. he didn't just let it bounce off his head. He actually directed it to the left side of the net with following through with his body. And that's the key to a headshot if you want it to go where you want it to go.
Like a human missile heading toward the net that time. And so both goals today, you wouldn't expect a cheap one. Both goals spectacular here. So we now play a 10-minute overtime, and here we go. Fleetwood with the ball going into the wind. Quaker Valley defending the goal to your left, going with the wind. Schindler has the ball in the middle of the field to Burgess, to the outside. Our side, Steichler centers it back to the middle. Burgess controls, looking ahead, trying to get it downfield. He's trying to find Hampton. Hampton has the ball taken away on the far side. Romanovich, who's been just stupendous today in the defensive position down there at back. The first overtime being played here. 9:21 to go, now 9:18. You see Colin McGroarty favoring that left foot, was hurt midway through the first half, and he's still pretty much hurt. He's limping along pretty well.
Yeah, he is.
I think you'd have to have
He's toughing it out.
I think you'd have to have a whole bunch of people drag him off this field right now, though I don't think he'd go under his own volition.
Not in his championship game. He's not coming out.
Sean Taney saves it in bounds. And now Taney's going to wait till he gets his people back downfield. Kicking it ahead for Fleetwood. Uses that nice drop soccer style, the drop kick look.
Passed it outside, but nobody's there to receive it.
Here comes Steichler getting the ball back in play. Upfield to Mel. Mel with a nice job of hooking the ball back in. Taken by Schiller in the middle of the field. Taken away by Kristoff. Kristoff is going to look for Cassio in the middle momentarily. Cassio's wide open, but Kristoff being bottled up by 3 Fleetwood players. Now he gets it to Cassio.
Controlled that very well.
To McGroarty. McGroarty trying to get something started. Watch this, rocket shot. And can't get the shoulders turned to the cage. So important to get those shoulders squared to the cage.
Shoulders and hips, and crowd went wild, but it didn't quite make it.
Said to the cage, I'm thinking field hockey already. To
I
the
know.
net, actually. Nevertheless, the aperture into which you would like to put the missile that you've launched.
The scoring.
Whatever.
The scoring thingy.
There you go. It is 1-1. You are watching the boys AA state championship game here on PCN. We are in overtime, the first overtime here at Hershey Stadium. Quaker Valley tied with Fleetwood here in the boys AA. There was Fick running the whole way down again, almost turning a lazy kind of play into something big. Fick is the guy with the only goal here this afternoon, courtesy of his head. Straight ahead.
Mom would be proud.
Schindler, now Fick with the ball. Being pushed down from behind there. No call, though, and the fans weren't too happy about that particular one. Brought back outside. Steichler brings it under control. Good hustle by Cassio down there.
I almost thought he was going to grab that.
Here we go. Steichler going to load it up. Back upfield.
Little indecision going on.
Right there. Fick. Again, a little push by McGroarty. Nothing called there. Back to Mel. Mel's going to center it. Looking for Hampton. Looking for anyone who might be a red-shirted person who can put their foot on the ball. McGroarty back ahead. Cassio, middle of the field, can't handle it. Back outside to Carrier. Tied up over there with Castle on the far side. Carrier controls it for Fleetwood. Now we'll set the attack. They'll reverse fields again. Back to the middle. Taken there by McGroarty. McGroarty ahead. This time to Staka on the far side. Staka. Back to Kristoff. Kristoff. A little bit of a short pass taken away there by Fleetwood. And it was Leibensbarger taking it away. Here comes Quaker Valley. Look out. They've got some numbers here and a little possibility. McGroarty checked up there in the middle of the field. Nice job of sending it down by Leibensbarger to Staka. Staka trying to turn the corner. Is not going to be able to do it. Good defense down there by Fleetwood.
It almost seems like they should put the gloves on.
5:37 to go in the first of potentially 2 overtimes here to decide a boys AA state championship. Slipping out that time on the kick, and you see Staka coming up. He's got a man open in the middle. He's got Kristoff, and here's McGroarty. If he get by one man, kissing it off to the far side. Castle with the look. Ooh. Oh, what a great save there Taney, great save.
That was a great save.
Sean
Just tipped it right up and over.
Sean Taney climbing the ladder to save that one. And you want to watch the most athletic save of the game. Here it comes. Watch this. Beautiful pass from McGroarty to Castle. Taney climbs the ladder and watch this. Tips it out over the top. Beautiful play by Sean Taney.
He watched it the whole way, and that's exactly what you got to do when you're a goalie. Watch that ball. Don't take your eyes off it.
Ball finally going out of bounds off Quaker Valley. We take it back by Fleetwood. 4:44 to go. Back into the game is Josh Sanders for Fleetwood. We are grinding down to the end of the first overtime. 1-1 the score here in a Pennsylvania PIAA state championship, AA boys soccer.
And you can tell both teams want this championship because neither one of the teams are giving up, despite
you think
the fatigue.
So, yeah, it's kind of has gotten to be a personal thing here for both
Yes,
white
it
and red.
has. Oh.
Here it comes. Back to the middle, Hennessy. Knocked out of there. Nice play. And down on the field is Billy Burgess.
He's getting up slow. Might have another injury.
Here we go. Christoph. Now McGroarty.
Oh, he's all right.
Here comes McGroarty. Gets a shot away. Oh, it just misses to the left. As Taney again, using the eyes, had that corner guarded very nicely.
He likes the ends of the net.
Well,
Let's see that again.
Always looking for those sharp angles at the game of angles.
Yeah.
Watch it. Set it up in the middle field. Give you. Oh, look at the footwork. And now watch. A lightning shot just skidding by the outside, but Taney, Johnny on the spot there.
So close yet so far. And remember, he's playing with an injury.
In this case, it was Sean on the spot.
Oh.
So you watch the ball go to the left of the net, and now back on the attack. Quaker Valley trying to defend. Fleetwood trying to attack, and Fleetwood with the disadvantage of having to attack into the wind at 3:09 to go in the first overtime. Quaker Valley organizing what may be their last real effort here in the first half, although plenty of time, I guess, to go. 2:57 here of the overtime. Here comes McGroarty. Burgess upends him right there. Burgess gets it cleared. Back to the middle, taken back there. Kicked ahead by Wilcox. And a harmless little dribbler down towards Sean Taney.
Exhaustion overtakes any kind of real strategy at this point in the game. They're just scrap balling it and trying to get it in.
I like that word, scrap ball.
Scrap ball.
Right now, not scrap balling at all, is Leibelsbarger coming down the near side.
Oh.
He is taken out down there by number 15. That was Ronnie Vish. And cleared all the way to the other end again. 2:13, 2:12. It continues to count down here in the first overtime. 1-1 for a boys AA state championship, PIAA style, as it's cleared by Taney. Taken again by Christoph, middle of the field. Can't control it. Back to the near side to Steichler. Steichler, a little bit of room in front of him. He's going to take it up there, look for an open man. Finds him, Leibelsbarger. Leibelsbarger to the middle, to Vic. Vic looking for Hampton, can't find him. Vic continues to hustle across, keeps something going as Mel on top of it. Back downfield, Steichler with it. Steichler with a long, high, arching shot that's hanging up in the wind. Good job by Christoph, taller of the two between he and Mel, getting it back out of there. Going to let it harmlessly roll down back into the hands of one Mr. Sean Taney, who's had a little action here this overtime. 1:20 left now in the first overtime. Taney clears it. Nice flat kick into the wind. Golf, we call those wind cheaters. Hampton with the ball. Hampton trying to get back the outside, and does. Now it's checked up there. Here comes Hampton. It's going to be kicked away at the last moment to save any possible center by Quaker Valley. The clock is now under 1 minute. 55 seconds it says at the moment.
And the fans are rising to their feet, cheering.
Huge corner right here as Hampton gets ready to put his foot to it. It's the third corner of the day for Fleetwood. Here we go. Corner by Fleetwood. And beautiful job of getting it out of there that time. It was Wilcox diving in the way of it. Nice touch, but no one to pick it up. And Fleetwood turned away on a huge corner shot. 29 seconds to go. You can see it in the upper left-hand part of your screen right now as the clock ticks down. It's the first overtime here at Hershey Stadium in the boys AA championship. Kissio Tries to get it back to Staka. Staka lets it go out of bounds. 9 seconds. Not much time. You want to get one lucky shot here. You can. Kristoff boots it as far as he can downfield, and that's going to be it. 3, 2, 1. It's the end of the first overtime here, and it's still 1-1. These guys do not want to give up the hunt for the goal.
No, they don't. It's going back and forth on the attack, and they're consistent. That's for sure. Now we're doing another overtime, and maybe this overtime will determine the winner. 2 storied programs in soccer. Fleetwood in their 5th appearance here in the state finals. They've won 1 time. The last time they were here in '97, they lost to Sewickley Academy. And for the Quakers of Quaker Valley, it is the 8th time in 10 years coming here, as we see Gene Klein talking to Kissio down there for Quaker Valley and giving him some instruction as to where he wants to go with this. It has been a battle all afternoon. Suffice to say, no cheap goals. Both goals stupendous. One a head missile shot, the other one a rocket shot in the upper part of the cage. That's what you'd expect in a quality game like this one. And it is a quality game. Obviously, you have 2 very competitive teams here, and the maturity level is pretty much head-to-head, where they're controlling the ball tremendously, and they're utilizing the angles and getting it outside, working it in on the attack to make the goal. But the maturity really just astounds me.
Well, a lot of maturity here, a lot of good control, a lot of good discipline, and we've seen it all afternoon. And the 2 goals that were scored, frankly, had to be masterful shots to get into the cage. I mean, it's been a stingy place to go. You've seen the play all afternoon of Wade Tucker. You've seen the play of Sean Taney. They've been outstanding as goalkeepers today. You've seen the skill on both sides. And then again, you must take advantage of those little moments, those little slivers of light that occur.
And that's the difference.
And there haven't been that many.
There haven't been that many, and obviously it reflects it in the score, 1-1, where we go into our second overtime today.
It's also reflected in the saves. 4 saves today for Taney, 7 saves on the other side for Tucker. It's reflected in the corners, 3 corners for Fleetwood, 4 corners on the other side for Quaker Valley. So it's been a closely played game. And we don't mean to make that sound too simplistic, but frankly, that's what it's been.
And you would think that Quaker Valley actually would have the benefit here because they've been here before. And they're pretty focused, they're driven, got a lot of heart on that team. But Fleetwood is right up against them.
Well, here we go right now, our second overtime, 10 minutes again to be played. This time, however, Quaker Valley must go into the win, and so the advantage goes, I think, at least on paper, to Fleetwood. But here comes McCordy. He says, I don't care about that. I'm going to try to beat the wind anyway. All day long, we've seen 1 goal scored into the wind in 2 games.
Right.
That's it. All the rest of the goals have been scored with the wind. 3 goals scored with the wind, 1 goal scored against the wind all afternoon. That's including the girls' AA game.
And when the wind is whipping this hard, that's a big factor.
And Villa Joseph Marie, of course, won the first one today, 2-0. And here comes Fleetwood with the wind right now, looking to try to find an opening, trying to center it. Got the angle and can't quite get to it before it crosses the line.
Oh.
Game is now in the 2-hour range. And, Mom, if you're making dinner, just hold it for a little bit. We got a little more time to play here.
Keep it on the warmer.
Imagine a lot of moms. You think of the moms and the dads over the course of the year that hold dinner up, the kids come home late.
It's amazing.
You got kids with injuries, and you've got to clean clothes every night. I mean, that's all part of the athletic scene, too.
I couldn't do what parents do today. Their whole lives revolve around their kids and their sports, and that's very selfless and wonderful of moms and dads around the nation to do that.
Sure is. So hats off to you moms and dads out there and all you people who follow high school athletics. Still probably the purest way of going about athletics in this country, and we're watching it here. Look at the effort being laid down this afternoon as we see the ball taken away from Fleetwood, goes to Kristoff, and now to Kissio for Quaker Valley. And here he comes. McCrory makes a move. He's going to try to cross it right here. And, just cannot quite get it as he sends it high up into what is the place that the band's playing all summer.
And if there wasn't a net there, Gary, that'd be out of the stadium, out of the parking lot, out of here. He's got an incredible foot.
Good defense that time by Fleetwood, too, making him turn to another angle. Was not able to get his shoulders turned. We talked about that before, and hooked that ball into the net. 7:50 left in the second overtime as we grind to the end of this championship.
They're not giving up, though.
The kind of effort. It's a shame if anyone has to go home away this afternoon with a silver medal, frankly, because both have given great gold medal performances.
I think
Mel centers it. Look out. Saved by Tucker. It's up in the air. It's a free ball. Hampton gets it back to Carrier. Cleared out of there by Quaker Valley at the last moment. A dangerous moment there for Wade Tucker.
I think we should be given 2 gold medals here to both these teams today.
Well, we keep going much longer. We well may. As Hampton centers it one more time. Overshoots his man. Steichler. Back upfield, and we see Kissio up there waiting to try to get to it as it's taken away, though, by Billy Burgess. And Burgess sends it back. He says, let's start it back here again. Batasowicz with it. Heads it back to the near side. Keller. Keller heads it. Looking for Carrier. Tipped out of bounds by Quaker Valley. It'll stay this time with Fleetwood. 6:41 to go in this second overtime.
You haven't eaten dinner yet, have you?
I haven't eaten breakfast or lunch yet either, but that's okay. So here we go. Downfield, and Tucker picks it up. Kind of a harmless little dribbler. Tucker in the game today with 11 saves so far compared to Taney's 4. Taney had the most spectacular, though, of the afternoon with that tip late in the first overtime. There's McGrady looking for Kissio. They've been the combination trying to count goals all afternoon. Kissio with a little bit of fancy Dan there. Now Kristoff. Kristoff looking ahead. Kristoff taken away by Billy Burgess. Kristoff again. There's McGrady. McGrady looks and just left of the net. Kristoff really fought his way through Burgess that time to get the ball over to McGrady and give him a shot.
Yes, he did. And I'll tell you what, who's the guy that passed it to him? I forget his name.
Kristoff.
Kristoff did not give up. I mean, he was being single, double, triple teamed, and he kept up with the ball and managed to get it to McGrady so that he could take a shot.
McGrady not quite able to hook up, though. It's a shot on goal that time, and we see a little push-off down here on the other end, and it's going to be called against Castle for Quaker Valley, so it goes back to Fleetwood. Carrier with the ball. Carrier's going to look for Hampton. Instead, he decides to reverse. It's Schindler in the middle of the field with the ball. Give and go to Schindler. Schindler gets it back to Hampton. Nice passing by Fleetwood. Fleetwood. Hampton down the near side. Gets tripped up right there. It's going to be an inbound here. A throw-in for Fleetwood as the clock ticks down to 5:10. Now 5:08. We continue to roll. This is the PIAA Boys AA State Soccer Championship at Hershey Stadium, brought to you by PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network. And now the official finally gets it right as the wrong team actually brought it in bounds. And the fans were pleading down there, please, sir.
There was some discussion on the field, and then the fans in an uproar.
They demanded a hand recount. They got it, and the red team's got it.
And it's crucial in a second overtime.
Or if you're in Florida, an election.
Yeah.
Here we go, back to Burgess. Fleetwood's got it. Burgess. There's the other side. Trike to the middle. Here it is. Wide open. Vic! Oh, and almost the same repeat of what we saw in the second half as Vic had the headshot and just couldn't get it dipped to the net. Instead was up and it went over.
Unbelievable with his head. You think, let's look at it again in the replay.
You remember the earlier goal that Vic scored where he put his head through his body like a missile at it? Watch this. Head straight up. And he had Wade Tucker beat. Could not hook up and put it in the net.
He's amazing.
Here's Quaker Valley now. Staka trying to get the ball back to the middle. Staka controlling it there to McGrady. McGrady has the ball. Looking to the outside. He's got Staka again. Little two-man game going on right now. Staka's trying to find McGrady in the middle. Picked off there by Fick. Fick brings it the other direction. Fick dodges the man himself. He'll try to get it to the outside and does to Carrier. Carrier goes to the middle. Carrier doing exactly that, carrying the ball down the field right now on the dribble. He looked to the outside in a moment. There it is. Got his man over there. Looks like Mel. Lines it up. Mel can't get the corner turn. Finally tries to take it away there on the baseline and brought back upfield.
That was a beautiful run on Fleetwood's part, passing and utilizing the whole field.
Good job that time by Romanovich. Comes Quaker Valley. Numbers look good right now. It's 4-4 at the moment. Trying to get it Castle. He's got a clean look. Oh, and he missed it. Castle with a clean look, and the moment he missed it, he had to kind of regroup, could not get the shoulders turned.
See, that's what I mean by you have to be prepared every second. You know, you got to get the ball first and then make the decision within that second. You got to go for it, make the execution, and if you don't, you miss it.
And the key point there is you see a disappointed Nick Castle coming back is, geez, what might have been, if I could have got those shoulders turned and gotten it clean on the pass, I might have been able to bring this thing home.
Right.
2:35 to go in this second overtime. 1-1. The boys AA state championship on the line right now in soccer. Ball back to the middle. Take it back there by Fleetwood. Set back down the field. Fleetwood again with the wind here in the second overtime. Inbound at their castle.
It seems like the wind has died down just a little bit.
There it is. Clean look down there. Good job by Vish of getting the ball out of there. And a push called on the other side by McGroarty. That means that Fleetwood will get it back. 1:58 to go as we tick down under 2 minutes right now. And I don't know, Ruth. It's going to be tomorrow before this game's over, as we are well into the 2-hour mark now on this contest. But nevertheless, an exciting time for these young athletes who are playing for PIAA gold and silver this afternoon. And again, silver will only be the color of the medal they take out of here. Both these teams, good gold medal efforts.
That's what I say. That's why we're in our second overtime, but the score is tied. They've got equal ability, and they've got equal spirit and equal energy. And it's like, hey, they're both winners.
A lot of people badmouth soccer occasionally because it doesn't score a lot of points. But I got to tell you, when you watch the skill, when you watch the footwork, when you watch the defense, you can watch a lot of this for a long time. It's very, very good.
And this is one of the toughest sports to play. I mean, you have to be in condition cardiovascularly and intelligently.
1 minute to go. Kissio with the ball. Quaker Valley with the ball. Trying to find something. Good defense by Carrier. Takes it away for Fleetwood. Gets it back down into the defensive end of Quaker Valley. Picked up there by Shearer. Shearer to the other side. Over to Vish. Here comes a possibility. No. Shearer again clears it away. Fleetwood just trying to maybe play a little defense here right now, but all of a sudden they got an offensive opportunity, and here they come. Mel to the outside. Anywhere to go with it? Yep. Touches it back to the middle. And a shot. Tucker with a good save in the near corner. Good job by Fleetwood in getting it down there. Leibelsberger with a good shot, but Tucker right where he should have been positioned.
And the defense as well.
And that is going to be it, I think. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. Second overtime is over.
Over? Oh my goodness. It's not over until the fat lady sings.
No, it's not yet.
So to speak.
So now what we're going to do is get ready to do some penalty kicking in just a moment. And we'll watch this because penalty kicks, a lot of people do not like penalty kicks to decide championships.
I never did.
Well, you know, but then when you have two teams like this that seem to want to go on forever, when's the game going to end?
I know.
You know,
and they have a game after this, so.
Yeah, it's a football game actually coming up later on tonight. And, you know, you look at it right now and you wonder, is that a great way to go? I think it is. I think you got to have some way to end the game, unless you decide to play one-on-one or two-on-two and run them down the field. But these guys have exhausted themselves so much. Look at them. Over on the far side, as you see Coach Gene Klein over there looking around right now, giving some direction. And there is some strategy to this.
There is.
A lot of people will remember this is the way that the World Soccer Cup, the Women's Soccer Cup, was ended a little over a year ago. So certainly an exciting time, if not exactly the way the game is played at this point.
Well, I think if you have two teams equal in ability and strength and strategy, I mean, you have to do something, you're right. And this is actually make it or break it. I mean, you get the kicker up against the goalie and go head-to-head and see what happens.
Well, you've got Sean Taney on the one side for Fleetwood. You see the officials getting ready to do this more work here in a moment. And the officials, I'd like to take my hats off to the officials this afternoon. Michael Hudock, David Robinson, and Bill Garrison. They've just done a wonderful job here today, as did the officials in the first game as well, frankly.
See the players trying to keep warm. It is bitingly cold outside here at Hershey Stadium. The wind is whipping, and it's tough to keep limber and warm.
Well, apparently we're not going to be at the penalty kick stage yet. We're back out of another overtime yet.
Right.
So this is going to be a 5-minute overtime now. 5-minute overtime. And
Sudden death
that's
overtime.
all it is.
Okay.
So, and just got some word over here that it will be co-champs if they don't decide this in the 5-minute overtime. So they will not go to the penalty kicks apparently. So we just got an update here.
I'd actually like to see that.
And frankly, that's the way this should be.
They deserve it.
I'm glad to hear that. You know, we were going by the very letter of the rules, but frankly, the PIAA rules much better. Co-champs is the way it should be. So here we go. Quaker Valley into the wind again. Fleetwood going with the wind, and here we go. Mel with the ball, getting it out ahead. Sanders trying to find an opening, can't. Fleetwood, long kick downfield. As we tick down at 4:35, this is the 5-minute overtime right now. Desperately trying to decide a champ, and maybe we're looking at 2 champs. You know, we talk about it's a shame anybody has to go away home with silver. Maybe they won't today. Set back upfield by Romanovich. Kissio loose. Kissio trying to outrace all the red people, in this case Billy Burgess. Kissio making up some time. They're trying to get teammates to help him. And taken down from behind by Billy Burgess is Kissio. Brian Kissio, who's played such a wonderful game here today.
Yes, he has. But I'll tell you what, Billy Burgess is one of those sweepers you got to beware about.
Well, the sweepers are back there to make sure you don't get by him, and that's exactly what he's trying to do there as they fought it out. You see Kissio putting a little move on him right here. Billy Burgess coming in behind, and in his effort to get to the ball, cut him out. And Kissio goes down. He's back up. He's okay.
We like to see that. Not the injury, but him getting back up. That's for sure.
Free kick now. McGroarty. And if you ever had a dangerous guy on this move, here he is. McGroarty lining it up. He will try to put it in the top of the net if he can. Number 7 has the only goal today for Quaker Valley. Here he comes. There it is.
Ooh.
Rocket shot off the pole. Wow.
Ever so close, and the curve in the angle of the kick was incredible.
Well, he had it hooked right into the corner. It just hit right off the pole, but a good save by Taney as well, as he was in the right spot at the right time. 3:03 to go in this 3rd overtime, a 5-minute overtime.
Families at home watching their players on the field are going nuts.
Well, you ought to be proud.
Yes,
you ought to be proud.
should.
This is the kind of game you want to see. 2 teams just fighting it out. Quality game, quality goals, quality defense, great efforts, guys playing hurt. I mean, it's all about this. Sanders to Mel. To the outside, taken away by Staka, kicked back out of bounds by Mel. 2:30 to go in this game. We're bringing you the boys AA state championship live right here at Hershey Stadium. I'm Gary Sutton, Ruth O'Brien. Happy to be bringing this to you all weekend.
You know it.
We'll be covering field hockey tomorrow morning, and then again we'll be coming back for soccer tomorrow. And here we go again. Quaker Valley with it. Castle centers it. There was McGroarty, just shot past him a little bit. Wilcox chasing it down in the far corner. Take it out of there. Ryan Fick back ahead. Now 2 minutes to go. 2 minutes, as you can see it in your upper left-hand corner of the screen. Again, we'd like to thank our PCN cameramen doing great jobs all afternoon everywhere in the stadium, giving you the angles and the pictures that you're seeing around the state of Pennsylvania. If it's PIAA championship, you're watching it on PCN. McGroarty with the ball. Touching it to the middle. Back over to Hennessy. Hennessy swings it. Near side, Castle. Castle back to the middle again. They're making sure McGroarty is not the one who touches it, as we see Kristoff stepping up. Wilcox to McGroarty. McGroarty makes a move. McGroarty trying to find a spot. Good defense down in the middle that time by Fleetwood. Another shot. Kicked out of there again by Fleetwood. Quaker Valley coming at it. Kristoff's going to wind it up here. Touches it instead to the outside to Castle. Castle wraps it up. Fleetwood with some serious defense right here. Good center. Another good job of getting it out of there.
Just consistent on their attacks.
That was Treichler that time getting it out for Fleetwood. And I'll tell you, Fleetwood dodged a couple bullets that time as the clock is now under a minute. 54 seconds, 53 and counting. Quaker Valley desperately trying to put this one in, staying on the attack. Kristoff with the ball. Back across the field. Staka to McGroarty. He missed his man. And now you have to regroup. Tim Shear gets the ball, sends it all the way back upfield, where Fleetwood's going to get it back with 30 seconds to go. Fick had the ball just for a moment, lost it. Shear covers it up now. Ahead, Kristoff, back up, McGroarty. McGroarty's going to send it out ahead. He's got Kissio down there. Kissio will buy a little time with his feet here for his teammates to come up and help. Kissio almost slips and falls down, gets back. Kissio misses his man. Billy Burgess, who's been there all afternoon, gets it. And now we count down.
That'll be the end of the second half. For a second overtime.
And now we go to our fourth overtime. It'll be a 5-minute overtime, the second of the 2 5-minute overtimes, and then, according to the word we've gotten, you would have co-champions in the state of Pennsylvania in AA, and frankly, I am kind of hoping that's the way it is.
Yeah, well, I thought it was going to be after this last one.
Well, you got 2 10-minute overtimes, you get 2 5-minute overtimes, and now we're down to winner take all in this next 5 minutes, or both winners take all. And frankly, we had nothing but 2 winners out here all day long. 2 teams that have fought it out all afternoon. 2 storied programs getting it done.
And that's exactly what it was, a fight for sure. And they're exhausted at this point, but they're not going to give up.
Thanks, man. 5 minutes to go, and it seems like we've been playing this game forever. When we started this game, it was light. It was a little under 3 o'clock. It's now dark. There's a football game that's going to be in here later tonight as well.
The stadium lights are on.
The lights are on over in Candy Lane in the park. I don't know if we can see those at all. The lights are on top of the Kissing Tower. And, you know, the wind's still blowing. It's still cold, and these 2 teams still want to win gold by themselves, I might add.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's going to happen here tonight. I think they might both go off champions.
Well, certainly a championship effort here today. An epic game right in front of us. We have enjoyed bringing it to you. This is the Pennsylvania Cable Network, serving cable companies around the state of Pennsylvania. Millions of people have the chance to watch these championships all weekend. And if it's happening in PIAA championships, it's happening on Pennsylvania Cable Network, PCN. We'd like to thank all of our people involved this afternoon. Robert Kraut, our director today, and all the good people down there working the trailer, the cameramen everywhere. They've done a wonderful job. And of course, all the people here like Tom Stevens, who have had this field in such great shape here today. We can't say enough for what those people have done behind the scenes and bringing you the great pictures you've had a chance to watch here all day around the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So we get ready to start now our last overtime. It's a 5-minute overtime. Quaker Valley will have the wind to their backs this time. On the other side, Fleetwood going into the wind, but I think right now the wind is almost a non-factor at this point, as both teams seemingly playing on nothing but will. Well, right now, the word that we have is that they're going to be co-champions if this 5-minute time goes by with any score. If that would not be the case,
penalty kicks.
They normally would go to penalty kicks,
right,
in collegiate and also in the pro level, but our understanding is that they would have co-champions, and frankly, I think that would be the right way to do it, as Hennessy gets the ball out. McGroarty ahead. Kissio taken down from behind. It was Burgess again coming up hard. Burgess plays physically back there, I got to tell you. He's the enforcer.
He really knows how to use his body to
Carrier
block.
to Schindler to Hampton. Hampton looks it up and just misses wide to the right. 4:35 to go here in the second 5-minute overtime. It's Fleetwood, it's Quaker Valley playing for a boys AA state championship here at Hershey Park Stadium. Gary Sutton alongside of me, Ruth O'Brien.
And I think that's the first shot that Hampton took for Fleetwood all day.
Yeah, Hampton really hasn't had a good look all afternoon. They've done a good job on him. As down the far corner, Romanovich and Hampton. Hampton exerting himself right here. There it is. Clean look, and Tucker right in front of it. Great job of getting it to the middle. Fick unloaded it dead on, and Tucker picked it off right there at the goal line, and beautiful job by Tucker.
I think he's relieved. That's for sure.
I think there's a lot of people that just lost about 5 years of their lives watching that if you were a Quaker Valley fan. 11th save this half for Tucker. Actually, this second half of the game, 4 overtimes we're in, so a little extra chance to get a few more saves than normal, I suspect. Now to the outside, Carrier trying to control the ball. 3:40 left in the second 5-minute overtime. Good job by Keller over there fighting it out, and he worked his way in such a way that he'll get the ball back for Fleetwood. Here comes Carrier, trying to find an opening. Nothing there.
Missed it.
Taken away by Shearer. Shearer clears. Back upfield, Billy Burgess. Gets things under control right now for Fleetwood. Sent down there, Fick trying to head it up again, and Tucker coming up to take the save. 3:09 and counting as Tucker will clear it with the win now to McGroarty. McGroarty really has been pretty quiet since early in the game, and of course one of the reasons why, a very sore left ankle that he hurt late in the first half.
He heard it initially, and then he heard it again.
Treichler clears across the field to the other side of Potasowicz. Potasowicz down the far side. Keller back to the middle, looking for Fick. Fick's got it. Fick in the middle of the field with it, trying to find an opening. Can't do it. Taken away by Quaker Valley, but headed back in by a Fleetwood player on the far side. Here comes Treichler. Treichler heads it down into the middle. Now back. Looking over here to Schittler. He can't get it. And out of bounds. A little bit of a push there. And it will be Quaker Valley's ball. 2:15 to go in this championship. And the word that we have is it will be co-champions. If this remains a tie after this second 5-minute overtime, the fourth overtime we played, 2 10-minute and 2 5-minute.
We're coming up. It's 2 minutes left in this overtime, Gary.
Here we go, under 2 minutes now as we tick down. The PIAA Boys AA State Championship. Seldom will you ever see a championship contested as fiercely as this one has been and as skillfully as this one has been. WPIAL well represented here today by Quaker Valley. District 3 well represented by Fleetwood. Quaker Valley looking for their 6th championship in their storied past. And of course, Fleetwood here for the 5th time, also looking for their 2nd state championship as we tick down now to 121, 120. Nice job there by Mel, getting ahead. Nice touch by Fick, getting it back into the middle.
Nothing really exceptional happening on the field.
Well,
and I think that
Staka inbounds it. You wonder where the energy is coming from right now for these players that seem to have been there all day long as Fick has the ball. And I'll tell you the answer to that question. It's simply heart.
It really is.
Nice job by Treichler. Back to the middle, misses his man. 50 seconds left in the game. Here we go. McGroarty gets it ahead, trying to find Staka. It's going to be Quaker Valley's ball. They've got one last chance coming up here. 38 seconds to go. It's going to be inbounded by Kissio. Kissio's going to throw this one long and hard toward the middle. I'll guarantee you. There it is. Kissio throws it in.
Fleetwood kicks it out.
Here's Kissio. He's going to have a chance to center this thing. Nice defense over there on the near side. Nice clear by Fleetwood. There it goes, Vish trying to get it up in the air to get some kind of lucky break. Not going to happen. 14 seconds, 13. It ticks down now. Coming up on 10. Long kick downfield. Shearer lets it go off the side of his foot. I think what we're looking at here at, Ruth, is co-champs in the state of Pennsylvania.
Well, how about it? I like that. They both deserve to be champions here today.
You've witnessed a classic PIAA soccer championship game. A game that neither team deserves to lose. Certainly today, these two teams are both winners. Ladies and gentlemen, we have co-champions.
Ladies and gentlemen,
co-champions, Fleetwood Tigers and Quaker Valley Quakers. What a performance, young men. Please get together, shake hands.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Co-state champions in the state of Pennsylvania. And a wonderful, wonderful scene down there as two teams respecting the efforts that each other has laid down on the field here this afternoon. And this evening now.
Once again, we need the teams to please line up for handshakes and then line up in front of your benches. We would like to begin our award ceremony.
But you've got to be proud here if you're a Fleetwood fan this afternoon, if you're a Quaker Valley fan, as these two teams have literally fought and given everything they had. And I hate to sound trite, Ruth, but certainly it's an appropriate way to go home. Penalty kicks just would not have gotten it done today.
No, I don't think so. And, you know, I don't like penalty kicks anyway because I think it's unfair to put a kicker up against a goalie, you know, and because the goalie's there and you've got all this space to cover and it could go in just by whatever happenstance with the certain way the kick goes. But, I mean, here they really battled to the death, but nobody died. They both won. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there's a respect that you take off the field here, I think, in the fact that both of them did fight to a standstill. The game was well contested. The shots were tough. The defense was stupendous. The athleticism was wonderful. And frankly, it's the way we should go home right now. I think maybe someone should watch this from around the country and say, hey, sometimes there needs to be co-champions, at least on a high school level, and I think this was the way it should have been done here today.
Yeah, I never like to go home, you know, second best, so to speak, and I know nobody does. But to have these two teams walk off the field with the championship under their belt really says something about the coaches, for that matter. Coach Didyoung of Fleetwood and Coach Klein, Quaker Valley, really gathering the spirit of both teams so they never really gave up. Thus the fight to the end.
Well, both teams will have won a state championship here today, or at least a piece of it. And if you look on the Quaker Valley side, that is their 6th state championship. If you look on the other side for Fleetwood, it's their 2nd state championship. Highly unusual, highly appropriate. Right here at Hershey Stadium today, where we saw an epic soccer match, and you've got to be extremely happy with what you saw here today if you're a fan for either side, or if you're a fan of soccer around the state of Pennsylvania.
I was pretty impressed, though, with one player at Quaker Valley, number 7, Colin McGrady. There's the trophy. Isn't that beautiful?
Well, I don't think they're sawing it in half. I don't believe that's going to happen here.
No,
so
I don't think so either.
Maybe that would be the final contest here today. Have a tug of war. Both sides take it. But I think that they've worked too hard. And I think what's going to happen, they're going to hand it to one team, and then they're going to hand it to the other team. One trophy, 2 teams. Hey, it happens. It's the way it should happen here today.
Congratulations to both teams.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to turn the mic over now to Bob Schoenberg as he gives us the announcement of the champions from both sides, Fleetwood and Quaker Valley, the best of soccer and the best of sportsmanship the PIAA can offer here in Pennsylvania.
First of all, Quaker Valley. We ask head coach Gene Klein, please present the medals to his players. First of all, Taylor Hawkins. Tyler Hawkins. Evan Geller. Jorge Gazzara. Tommy Donegan. Tim McCarthy. Ben Adams. Chris Tewitt. Jim Dickens. Ian Parrish. Warren Swiggle. Greg Singer. Jared Pattison. Drew Money. Robbie Hay. Alex Scout. J.J. Vecchio. Jeremy Bruce. Doug Romanovich. Ronnie Besh. Tim Shearer. Joseph McGroarty. Sebastian Stocka. Robert Stupp. David Baker. Greg Wilcox. Graham Hennessy. Nick Castle. Wade Tucker. Ryan Kissio. Peter Christoph. And Colin McGroarty. Ladies and gentlemen, your year 2000 PIAA Boys Soccer Co-Champions, the Quaker Valley High School Quakers. And now we'd ask that Fleetwood head coach, Mr. Tony Didyoung, please congratulate your players as we introduce the Fleetwood Tigers, beginning with Hampton Allen, Brad Boyer, David Carrier, Greg Dengler, Brad Dengler, Ryan Beck, Lucas Hill, Matt Keller, Evan Leipelsperger, Greg Lenhart, Ben Mail, Glenn Ottinger, Mike Pike, Brad Potasowitz, Josh Sanders, Troy Schittler, Mike Schwab, Jared Treichler, Mike Watrous, Billy Burgess, Eric Messer, Sean Taney, Paul Unruh, Hal Klein, Seth Vick, Pete Fisher, Seth Hefner, and we now ask Troy Schittler, Ryan Fick, Brad Potasowitz, and Sean Taney, if you'll please step forward as PIAA Assistant Executive Director, Mr. Mark Byers, presents you with the year 2000 PIAA AA Boys Championship Trophy. Ladies and gentlemen, two classic soccer teams. Congratulations to Quaker Valley and Fleetwood.
Well, there you have it. Back here at Hershey Stadium, co-champions. They played all night long. Sounds like a good name for a song, right, Ruth?
Yeah, all night long.
There you go. Well, it ended finally. One team gets the medals, one team gets the trophy right now. Both teams will get a trophy and medals sent to them.
Thank you for clearing that up. I was curious about that.
But there you go. It has been a stupendous soccer match here, an epic soccer match. And Ruth, final thoughts?
Well, you don't see something like this happen all the time, especially in high school sports. I thought that both teams came out here knowing what they wanted, and guess what? Both teams got what they wanted, the championship.
Someone once said that there's going to be a winner and a loser going home.
Sorry.
I want to differ on that one. Sometimes two winners can go home, and you see a bunch of winners there in white, and we'll get a look at the other winners there in red in a moment. It's nice to see. It's nice to see two teams go home with the gold today, and there's another gold medal winning team this afternoon. Unusual, yes.
Yeah.
And for some people who would say, well, let's have penalty kicks, fine, you could say it. But I got to tell you, doing it the way the PIAA did it today is the absolute right way.
Well, the boys AA league, well, we've got a lot of happy people as opposed to one disappointed team and one happy team. So
somebody once said having a tie is like kissing your sister. I just don't think it's like that at all. You take the gold. In this case, it's the way it's supposed to go. And this will be one that people will talk about for a long, long time.
Yeah, it will.
We'd like to remind you that we have more games coming up this weekend. Of course, tomorrow, Boys A, we start here at Hershey Stadium, 3 p.m., Lewisburg versus Sewickley Academy.
You and I will be together for that.
We'll be together for that, bringing it live around the state of Pennsylvania, right here on PCN. Where else? Then girls 3A at 5 p.m., Downingtown in Mount Lebanon. The only undefeated team in this tournament will be playing in that one. And finally, the wrap-up. The boys 3A championship, 7 p.m., Emmaus against North Allegheny. We're going to have a lot of fun tomorrow. Plus, we've got a couple of big field hockey games coming up tomorrow morning. Warwick will be going up against Central Bucks East in the 11:30 game over at Messiah College. Ole Valley will be hooking up with Lancaster Mennonite in a Reading Berks and Lancaster Lebanon League matchup. And it's going to be a fun day tomorrow for sports. Plus, there's football all over the place. And remember, if it's happening in sports, it's happening on PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network. We also like to remind you that out ahead, December 8th and 9th, we have the football championships coming up right here at this same Hershey Stadium. You'll want to get ready for that as well. Well, Ruth, it's been a great day here, and it's time, I guess, to wrap things up. You see Candy Land in the background, the Candy Lane over here at Hershey Park. A happy place. It'll be a happy place tonight for Fleetwood and Quaker Valley fans. Again, we'd like to remind you, Villa Joseph Marie won the first one today, 2-0 in girls championship over Charleroi. A great game there, too. Fleetwood and Quaker Valley go home 1-1 tie, co-winners of the gold in the state of Pennsylvania.
And it's been a great day of soccer. I've had a wonderful time, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Well, Brad Cashman, thank you. Robert Lombardi, Melissa Mertz, Mark Byers, all the good people who have worked on this field today, Kevin Stump and Tom Stevens, as well as our camera crew, our directors for PCN. We could not have done it without them, and they brought you great pictures here all day long. And ladies and gentlemen, with that picture in the background tonight, we say good night until tomorrow when we bring you live soccer action again, starting at 3 o'clock right here on Where Else? PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Good night, everyone.
Good night.